closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live at the Bike, brought to you by the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles, California, the first and only webcast of real action, live, unedited cash game poker. My name's Bart Hanson, and I'm here with Dave Tuckman. Tonight is Wednesday, which means it's our big game. $25.50, no limit, unrestricted buy-in. There's a $3,000 minimum buy-in for this game, but people obviously might buy much, much bigger.
Yes. It's a
and
huge game.
A ton of action on the table. Kenneth James is not quite here yet, and Joseph Hashem is not here. But we're going to go around right now and introduce the table.
Let's
go and do that.
Seat one, we've got George, Greek poker god, folks.
Yeah.
And you can notice those chips there. He's got a lot of chips. Seat two, we've got Eugene. Eugene's kind of a live at the bike groupie now. Glad he jumped aboard, and he is playing. Seat three, we've got nobody right now, but I'm getting word that it's going to be Ed. He's locked up the seat.
Okay, Ed.
We actually have two 25-50 games going right now.
Yes, we do. Two full games.
Yeah, they're both full with a board. Seat four, we've got Corporation Mike.
Yep.
And Mike's got probably close to $44,000 in there.
Yep.
Seat five, we've got Avo. And Avo loves to buy in for a lot of money. I mean, he's probably got close to $30,000 in front of him.
Yeah, you get some foreign casino chips on top of there, which are $5,000 chips.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Seat six, of course, we've got Barry. Don't call me Greenstein Wood.
Yep.
And Barry's also got a lot of money. He's probably got about close to $10,000. Seat seven, it's Hav, actually.
Yep.
And Hav is not here right now, but he'll be back in a second. Seat eight, of course, we've got Mo. And Mo is our no-limit host here. And seat nine, we have Alan, everybody's favorite.
Dave, we have Jonas over at the other table. I hear he's first up to get into this game. We have Jay, Action Jay over there. Yeah, we're going to be looking forward to a huge night. We've made some technical improvements here at Live at the Bike. I don't know if everyone notices out there that the window stream is a little bit larger. It's a different shape. We we were really working all afternoon long to put this new technology into play.
Yeah.
So check it out. We're going to get into the first hand of the night here. Looks like Avo here has got a pair of eights and an open-ended straight draw. Alan's got a pair and a flush draw. And Alan has the best hand if this goes to showdown.
Yeah, you wonder if Alan checks it. If Avo bets, can Alan call?
One pair.
Well, and he does, and Alan's going to win this.
Yep, with a 9.
Yeah.
There you go. And that pot looks to be at least $4,000 or $5,000. I know we got right into the action.
Yeah, and the pots will be big here. Obviously, with 25-50 blinds, you're talking about a customary raise. A first raise might be $200. A second raise might be as much as $600 to $700.
Well, let's take a look at the chips here. Those purple chips are quarter chips. They're $25 chips.
I love you, Mike.
The white chips are $100 chips. If you see big gray ones, they're thousands, and light purple ones are 5,000.
Yeah.
So stack of 20 chips is 2,000 there.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And Avo, obviously, those bright pink ones on top of Avo's chips are like we said,
$5,000 chips from a foreign casino.
Yeah. And we accept, most casinos do.
Right. Well, the LA area ones will accept the LA casino.
Well, it's funny, a lot of the big-time players actually almost never cash in their chips. They just walk around with chips from other casinos, and they'll play them.
So Corporation Mike is going to raise it up here to $250. Classic Mike, he's got ace-3 offsuit. Barry Woods has got the button. He's going to make a call. We haven't seen what he has yet over there in the window.
Well, classic Barry Woods, he's calling call with ace-9.
Actually, ace-9 is seat 7's call.
Oh, there you go.
Barry's got a king-10 offsuit. And George is going to make the call with king-jack. So we are going to see four-way action here. And it's a $1,000 pot pre-flop. Here we go. Queen, 10, deuce. Couple spades.
Well, Barry's got the best hand right now, but Hobbs got a big draw. He's got the nut flush draw.
And George is open-ended with the jack of spades. I believe the action's
on Hobb right now.
And Hobbs going to come and bet.
He's going to bet right away.
He's going to bet 900, just about the size of the pot. Now, with George here, a couple spades on board. He's open-ended, and he's got players to act behind him. Is he going to get involved?
Yeah, now Hobbs got a thing. He's actually got 12 outs to the win here because any ace and any spade would give him the win.
Yeah.
Hard for him to know that, obviously, if somebody has ace-queen or, say, ace-10.
Right. Again, George is a pretty tight ABC player here. I wouldn't really be surprised to see him lay this hand down.
Well, we're talking a $900 bet. I don't know if George is deep enough. I mean, how much money does George have? Maybe $3,500?
He's going to lay it down.
I mean, do you really want to put 33% of your stack in there?
Right.
With just a straight draw, especially with the two spades out there.
Mike quickly folds, and look at that. Barry quickly folds as well. That's really respect for Hobb, who really plays it super, super tight. Nice semi-bluff by him. He's going to take down a $1,900 pot right
Well, it's a great bet by Hobb. You know, he knows what kind of image he has. He knows what the other players see him as.
Right.
And he takes it down there. With not the best hand, obviously.
Good look at Hobb as the button moves over there to seat 7. Of course, we're here live at the bike. We stream live cash games every Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 Pacific time.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Alan's got the big blind over here in seat 9. Pocket queens here for Eugene in seat 2. Well, he's played every level of live at the bike. Played the big game. This is the biggest game, and he plays the $80 game.
He likes being on the show.
And Eugene is going to make it $325 to go.
Wow, that's a big raise. Now, I want people at home to keep track of, Eugene just raised here with $325 with queens. Is that going to be his customary raise, or is he raising it more with queens?
Well, I mean, the interesting thing you wonder, and I have no idea about Eugene's background, is he comfortable playing at this level?
Well, we'll find out soon enough, huh?
Butt moves over there to Mo in seat 8. And this is a collection pot game, of course. I believe it is $13 per half an hour per player. And when that collection pot disc comes out, whoever wins that pot pays the collection for the entire table, Dave.
Yeah. It definitely does influence a little bit in terms of that hand.
That hand, collection pot hand. But we are not playing rake games, so we're probably not going to see much chopping going on.
No, in a game like this, I don't see any point in chopping.
And you wonder if Mike will kind of play as loose aggressive as he normally does with this size of a game. Now, Mo's going to bring a little raise in here to 125. He's got an ace-5 of clubs. Probably picking on George, who's pretty tight over there in the big blind. And Alan is going to call, and boy, Mo's got to love his spot here against Alan.
He's in a great Well, Mo's in a great spot. You think about it, every time he hits his button, it's George in the big blind.
Right.
And Alan in the small blind.
Flop comes out queen 7-3 with 2 spades. Alan checks, Mo bets.
And nothing against Alan or George.
Right.
But I think Mo is the superior player in that case. And I think he can definitely take advantage of the position there.
Right. If you want to keep this show interactive like we always do, you can email us at live@thebike.com. You can also follow a thread that started on the internet. Go to 2plus2.com, spelled out. Click on forums, World Poker Tour, etc.
Who's coming here?
Official Live at the Bike thread for Wednesday, 25.50 no limit. Now, this is going to be a collection pot here, and Mike is going to straddle it up, so we're going to play a $100 big blind this hand.
Yeah, that's the only way you're going to...
You're going to kill us? You're going to shank us?
Come on out, man.
Really?
And it's going to get folded around to Mike in the straddle spot. Mike's got a queen 4 offsuit. Eugene's got king deuce.
Get out there and play a little bit.
And he's kind of short, and he is going to fold, and it's going to get folded around on Mike there. Mike takes it down.
When the interesting thing is, I'm trying to see how much money Mo has in front of him. He's got a lot of money, I think. Barry's got a lot of money, and Abo's got, he's got the table covered by a lot.
Anybody noticed our nice, snazzy new LA Poker Scene shirts?
Yeah.
Of course, you can go to lapokerscene.com, click on the thread, or the banner that's on the Live at the Bike homepage. Get over there, sign up for a $500,000 free roll. You can also try to knock me out, Dave. I'm getting word that the Bounty tournament is actually being moved to next Sunday, not this upcoming Sunday, but a week from Sunday.
Really? Okay. Next Sunday.
Got a little raise here by seat 6. That's Barry Woods. He's going to make it $250 to go with pocket 8s, and he's going to take it down.
Pretty straightforward.
Table's playing a little bit tight here with this type of money on the game.
Yeah, some players that it's interesting. A lot of these players started out playing 5-10.
Yep.
Then they moved up to 10-20, and maybe it took a couple of weeks to get comfortable playing that.
Right.
And now they're playing 25-50. And you wonder if it might take them a little while to get comfortable playing this game as well.
he can dribble with his feet. Someone left a $50
Button's going to move over here to seat number 2.
Paid up yet? Hasn't paid up yet.
I don't know anything about anything like that.
Race, make it 100.
Seat 8's going to make it $100 to go here. A little mini race, and Mo has 9-10 of spades, a little pot sweetener. And I'm going to see everybody in the pot here pretty much. 5-way action, $500 pot, pre-flop.
You guys want to pay the collection pot, huh? Yeah.
And here we go.
That's why he did it.
King 8-5 here.
Well, it's missed everybody. You wonder if Mo bets this to take it away.
He's going to throw a little bet up there. He's going to bet 200, Dave, into a $500 pot.
And normally, I mean, somebody might be able to smell the weakness here, but you wonder if any of these players are going to pick up on that. Nobody has a king. Actually, in fact, nobody has an 8 either.
Yep. Barry's got pocket deuces. He's not going to get involved. A little $200 bet there into a $500 pot is going to take it down there for Mo.
Wow. Real impressive.
Got it, sweetie. Sorry.
I'm real excited about our new technology here. Obviously, we're always trying new things here.
Yep.
Make our show great. And I guess we've finally gotten rid of the old 4x3 format, and now we're up to movies,
Yep.
basically, which is a 16x9 format. Real exciting. Once again, we're live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. We're playing No Limit Hold'em with 25-50 blinds. Button is in seat 4.
Yep. And are we seeing another collection pot?
Yeah, that'd be fun, man.
Did they
Well, that one was not big enough to be a collection
yes,
pot.
there has to be a minimum of a certain amount in the hand. We're going to see 3-way action here. Queen 9-5.
Well, Alan's got best hand here. He's got a pair of queens.
Yep.
Barry's got the second pair, and I think he's going to bet it. And he is.
He's going to bet 225 here.
And Alan will probably just call,
Yep.
No traffic.
a la Alan. And the problem with this is you never know what Alan has here.
Right. He could be taking one off with ace-jack here.
You
just
could
don't
have a
know.
5, you could have spades, you could have anything.
Well, the turn's a 9. And now Barry's made trip 9s. It's the third spade, and he's going to bet again.
And Alan will probably still just call.
Looks like it's a bet of $500 here.
Does it hit the sunset? We didn't have any traffic. That's what
No, Alan's not going to call.
Wow, lays
Well,
it down.
maybe
Nice laydown.
the spade scared him a little bit.
Yeah, nice laydown there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good laydown because if you look at the flop there, well, now you can't beat a 9, you can't beat spades, and you only have a queen with a 10 kicker. Can you really even beat a real queen? Good laydown by Alan. I wasn't expecting that.
No, neither was I.
Yeah, get it.
But again, like you said, it's really difficult to put Alan on a hand when he calls your bet on the flop because he will call with almost anything.
Yeah, I mean, especially if it's a small little bet.
Right. Button's going to move over here to seat 5.
Collection. Pretty smart, huh?
Small blind.
Big blind over there in seat number 7.
Avo on the button.
Now, Mike's got an ace-deuce of diamonds over there in seat 4.
Now,
He's just going to limp in.
Now, Avo is in the same spot that you were on Friday night. He's playing between Mike and Barry.
Right.
You wonder how Avo is going to play tonight.
Well, he's going to raise here. He's got pocket 9s from the button. He's going to make it 250 to go. And Eugene's going to call him with a queen 10 of hearts over in seat 2. And Mike is not going to get involved with ace-deuce of diamonds. And we are heads up here. Queen 10 of hearts against pocket 9s. Avo has position.
My hoops game's all right.
4, 5, 7 here. Good flop for Avo. Eugene's
Yep.
going to check. And Avo bets.
Pretty straightforward there.
Bet 1,000 a game.
Imagine Eugene is probably going to lay this down, and he does. Avo takes it down.
There you go. Again, players kind of just feeling each other out right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, the one thing I was kind of wondering, obviously, sometimes I don't actually want to play after Mike, you know?
Yep.
I almost want to be before Mike. But in this case, Avo's got so much money, and he's so comfortable playing at these levels
Right.
that I don't think he cares about playing after Mike.
Getting some emails and some posts on the thread, Dave, that we have a little bit of streaming issues. We're working on it. We are aware.
No, he did not.
Yeah, he did. You guys all
Did
started
not.
gaming play with
No, he didn't.
Button's going to move over here to seat 6.
I popped that. The last game we played together. I popped that one.
King,
right
queen
behind.
suited here for Mike.
Yeah,
King, queen of diamonds. And he is going to raise.
make it 2 and
He's going to make it 200 to go.
Well, Barry's got fours, pocket fours here. He's going to call.
He calls.
Talk to Mike and he's doing his beats or something.
Yeah, that's
Mike was my bill.
And we got heads-up action here. Heads up between the two monsters. Here we go.
Sorry, Mike. See what you did, Rob?
Ace, 8-5. Barry's got the best hand, but how can he possibly know it?
Yeah, it's tough. If Mike puts a nice bet in there, it's going to be really tough for Barry to call.
Mike bets 300 here, a little under the size of the pot.
Well,
Barry's got position, and he's going to raise.
wow.
He's going to make it 600. A little feeler raise there representing the ace, and Mike quickly gets away from it. Power of position right there.
Yeah.
Funny thing is if Mike had pocket kings, queens, jacks, 10s, or 9s there, would he play it the same way?
Now you wonder why we've often seen Mike. Can Mike get away from queens, jacks,
Right.
that easily,
Right.
especially against Barry? Nice play by Barry, though. He knows Mike's going to put a little a little continuation bet out there.
Yep.
Don't go to this finish, right? No, it's going right now.
Oh, yeah, going right now.
Button moves over there to seat 7.
I'll give you 3 points. I'll take the Lakers.
One behind you, Jonah. One behind you, too.
275.
And Avo's going to raise it up here. He's got ace, queen of hearts,
Yep.
and he makes it 275. Well, and Allen's going to call with pocket 10s. He's going to cover the black 10s. And you imagine Mike is probably going to fold queen deuce here, and he does. And the pot is $600 to the flop.
Yeah, here we go.
So we played 3 games and he quit.
Queen 8-6, and Avo's hit top pair. It's only one overcard to Allen's 10s.
And this is one of those tough hands with 10s,
375.
Avo's going to bet 375. The funny thing about Avo, even though he's got a lot of money on the table, and he obviously is comfortable with playing at these stakes, he does play it pretty ABC. We haven't made him, seen him make a whole lot of moves. And Allen check calls here, and he's in big trouble.
Yeah. He needs a 10 and only a 10 here.
Turn is an ace, and now Avo's got top 2 pair.
Well,
This might save Allen.
Yeah, that'll make it a lot easier for Allen to throw it away. Because if the guy didn't have, let's say the guy had ace king. I mean, what can Allen beat now?
Well, he's thinking about it. And Avo's bet 700 here.
You gotta love the fact that
They're both pretty sick.
Avo is betting his hand here.
Jay had pocket kings.
Wow, can Allen really call this facing 2 overcards? I mean, the best card for Avo probably would have been a queen to come on the turn, right? Got Allen involved.
Definitely.
How sick is that?
And Allen is not going to get involved. And again, you think, what did Allen call me with? Well, he could have called me with anything on the flop, with ace queen.
And the river would have been a 9. That's one less hand, obviously, you can beat.
Right.
Played him perfect.
Yeah. I was on that table for
Is
that.
that sick?
That was bad.
He thought his hand
Perfect
was
play.
Not, I played him perfect.
Yeah. And
And
He thought he was
again,
monster good. I played him perfect.
we're hoping that the streaming is a little bit better now.
Yeah.
So
But it came
Obviously, we're
we're testing out
Experimenting
these
with
new
some new tech-
cameras.
yeah.
Yep, these new technologies.
so please bear with us.
He's like, my hearts were better than yours. I'm like, I really wasn't trying to flop a flush with that.
Call.
Button is in seat 8.
Yep.
Limped around. Once again, this is a 25-50 game, folks.
And George is going to check it here, and we're going to see 4-way action. $200 pot. Queen 9-10. We got King 10 over there for Barry Woods. 8-9 for George. It's going to get checked over to Barry, and he's going to bet here. He's pretty aggressive post flop. He's going to bet 250. And George is probably not going to get involved here out of positioning. He does not.
I'm a big fan. I actually like Barry's game a lot.
Right.
If he would probably tighten up his calling hands a little bit, his game would really elevate.
I was talking to Mo before the show, Dave.
Yeah.
And again, we are always, at the mercy of the players that come to the game and the schedule. But Mo was talking about this really good chance of next Wednesday us seeing some really big players because it's the day before the LA Poker Classic.
Right.
Players such as Antonio the Magician, Mike Madison, stuff like that.
Yeah. I know Mel Judah was in the casino before. Obviously, with the LA Poker Classic going on, World
Right.
Poker Tour event, all the big names are in Los Angeles now.
Yep.
Raise 150.
Get a raise here by Allen on the button with King, Queen of clubs, like the raise.
He's been very quiet this whole time.
And George is going to call with ace-jack offsuit, out of position. And you wonder if Mo is going to call, and Mo is going to
And
call
Mo does
out of
call
position
as
with
well.
queen-jack.
And I was in there with pocket fours, Dave, so we got four-way action here to the flop.
Pot is $600, folks.
Yeah, here we go. Ace,
Wow.
Jack, 10. Wow, Allen's flopped the nuts.
Oh,
And
man.
George has got top two pair, and George is going to come out and lead here, and he's in trouble.
Now, this is one of those cases, if Allen plays it fast, he might get all of George's money.
$400 bet and a call by Mo. This board's pretty connected. Do you really want to see an action killer here if you're Allen?
I think Allen's definitely going to raise this. Let's
Plenty
see.
of money on that game.
Mo just called, and Allen's going to raise.
Oh, good. Look, he's playing it like he has ace-king, which
Yeah.
is beautiful.
That's the great thing about sport.
And let's see, and is George going to get in trouble here? Can George possibly get away from this hand?
I mean, George has only got about 2,500 left. I don't know if he can.
Allen is going to make it 1,000. Yeah,
Yeah.
and George he's kind of on the short stack. He moves all in, and this is going to get Mo out of the hand, obviously.
Yeah, there's no way Mo's going to call, obviously, with
Yeah.
a gut shot and second pair.
Now George is going to need to catch the case jack or an ace here.
Yeah.
Here we go to the turn.
Well, running tens.
Turn is a king. Well, he could get
Ooh.
a chop now. Nope, the river's a 7, and Allen's going to take it down with the nuts, the
Now that's
flop nuts.
Perfect example there. If Allen slow plays it and the king of diamonds comes on the turn,
Absolutely, yeah.
first of all, you chop it with Mo. Second of all, you
Right.
get no action whatsoever
From George. Yep.
Great reason to play it fast there.
What a great raise there by Allen. There you go.
You raise him, you think he's not raising with the nuts. He's probably raising with ace-king.
Right.
I mean, Allen's the type of player you might even think, even if he has a set of aces,
Yeah.
he's not going to raise it up. So my ace-jack is probably the best hand here. Can't really fault George for going broke on that one. If you have any questions for us, criticisms, concerns, please email us at live@thebike.com. We try to keep the show as interactive
That's right.
as possible.
Getting right in here into the first 20 minutes. Some exciting hands. Again, we've got another full 25-50 game over there on the other table. Bearwood's going to limp in with a little suited connector here. Mo's going to come in the hand with 5-3 of diamonds. Allen has called. King 10 of hearts. Eugene's got 6-5 offsuit. Let's see if he completes in the small blind. He does. And Mike checks. We're going to see six-way action here. Abo's in with a suited ace. 7-4-7. See if Eugene here. Well, he's got a gut shot.
Actually, no, he's open-ended there, Eugene.
Yeah, you're right. He is open-ended.
Yeah.
And it gets checked around. Now the turn's a 10.
And if he bets his draw there, he probably takes it down.
Yeah.
And now Allen's got top pair.
And Barry Woods is going to come out and bet here because he's now open-ended. Allen calls.
And rarely does Allen raise unless he's got something big.
Yeah. Yep. And now the action's over to Eugene. And he's going to get away from it. And we are heads up here, folks.
And Barry needs a 6 or a jack.
And the river's a jack, and Barry gets it. And the pot's about $1,300.
Now, to get paid off, you'd probably rather see a 6 there.
Yeah. Actually, the pot's about $800.
And you wonder, is Allen going to pay him off here?
Barry bets a little $400 bet here, half the size of the pot. Allen calls. Kind of a half value, maybe half blocking bet type thing on the river.
Exactly. Very
Yeah.
much of, I either want to get paid or I'm scared.
Right. Nice hand there by Barry Woods. Takes it down.
$1,600 pot.
Yeah. Barry Woods always the fashion god over there in seat 6.
That's a creative way to say it.
Yeah. Button moves over there to seat 8. Nice pink shirt there from Mike over there in seat 4.
He can get away with it, I tell you. Not many guys can get away with it. Mike can.
Button's actually in seat 2. And again, we are experimenting with new technology tonight. Hope everybody likes the new enhancements. Limp here.
Last thing we want to do here at Live at the Bike is kind of rest on our laurels. We want to continue to improve
Right.
our show for your entertainment.
Four-way action here, limped around. Ace, King, Jack. Queen, Jack over here for George. King, 10 for Abo.
Yeah.
Nobody has diamonds.
But Allen's going to bet this here, I think. Is he?
What if it was your turn? I checked.
Well, Alan's
No,
got
he
the
checks.
10 of
Okay.
diamonds in his hand.
He's got a gut shot with the only flush draw.
George is going to bet 200. Alan actually has the second nut flush draw
Yeah.
here, right?
I mean, normally you wouldn't take one off with 10 of diamonds, but hey, in this case, he's got a gut shot with the 10 of diamonds. He's actually got a gut shot straight flush draw.
And he's going to check call George here as we go to the turn. The turn's a 4. George is still in the lead. And again, if George ever showed any, I mean, if Alan showed any strength here and take it down, the river's a 3. This is kind of the leak with Alan's game, although he sometimes will bluff if he misses on the river.
Right. He will
And it
rarely
just goes
bluff the
check,
river.
check. Yeah.
But if he would ever show strength,
Yeah.
if he check raises the flop, if he bets the turn, there's no way George is calling him with queen jack there.
Right.
That's diamond.
No, absolutely no way. I agree with you. If Alan would actually step that part of his game up, you know, it would improve his game a lot. Because the image that he has now, anytime he shows any strength, get out of the way.
Exactly.
Obviously, when George was on the short stack there, he's not going to lay ace jack down. But I mean, you bet in with ace jack and Alan raises. Boy, that's one hand I don't put him on, king queen.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely tough to put him on that hand. You might put him on ace king, you might put him on ace queen even, but definitely tough to put him on that hand specifically.
buttons moved over to Mike in seat 4. George here is going to raise it up to 150 in seat 9. He actually made it 250 and Mike called. We can't see George's cards over there. He's got ace 3 off suit. And Mike is calling with king 9 of clubs on the button where it heads up. See what George is going to do here. 10, 6, 5. And it goes check, check on the flop. Turns a 9, and now Mike has a pair. George checks, and Mike is going to give it up here. Excuse me, George is going to give it up. Mike bets. George takes it down. So there you go. Mike with the best hand takes it down there with king 9. You got to figure that maybe Mike would have bet anyways, regardless of what had come on the turn, right?
Yeah, I'd imagine so. I mean, I think George obviously raised there to buy himself the button, and when Mike calls in position, it really kind of takes the
Right.
takes the play away from it. George just figured he's done with it unless he catches something.
Yep.
Dude, why did you
But obviously, a lot of big names in LA, and we're going to do our best to bring them on the show.
Yeah, this week should be really exciting.
Wow.
Oh, this one, the guy
Barry
with the
says,
freaking earring.
this one and this one's a bitch.
Limped here. And limped around. So we're going to see it limped around and in the blinds.
Everybody else on masturbation, man. Just keep it.
$125 pot. Queen 8 deuce rainbow here.
There's 3 of us, I'll check it.
Barry's got jack 8. He's got middle pair.
Oh.
And Mike bets 200 and Barry makes the call. Barry's got Mike out kicked here.
Yeah, that was the case 8, by the way. Because
Yeah.
Hob has 8-4.
Hobb did not get involved.
Queen deuce? Very close.
Turn is an ace. And now Barry's got a flush draw with his 8. Does he throw a little blocker bet out here? No, he checks it. Might he be check raising here also? But Mike's going to check right behind him. And the river here is the king, and this one's going to get chopped up now, right?
Yeah. It does. Obviously, both players have an 8 with ace, king, queen.
But Barry's going to throw a $400 bet out here, and now, if you're Mike, Mike's going to fold. There
Wow,
you go.
nice bluff there by Barry.
What can I beat, man? It kept getting uglier and uglier.
That's true.
At 8-9.
Again, we have seat 3 locked up for Ed.
Ed shining on his area in there. Ed took a little while off. I think he went to New York on some business and pleasure, but he's back in town, ready to play.
Yeah.
Alabama death penalty.
Once again, we have 2 of these games going on, 2 25-50 games going on. If you want to come down and play in the game, come on down.
Yeah.
I mean, the action's great tonight. I mean, the other game, we've got Jay in the game over there, Jonas. I know Amir is playing in that game.
Buttons over there in seat 6, Barry Woods. Again, we haven't seen a whole lot of big aggressive play yet so far. We're only about a half an hour into the show. Limped around here. We're going to see 5-way action. Look at those cards go up. Queen 10-7, couple spades. Hobbs got a flush draw. Last time he came out and bet into a big pot from early position. This time he checks it.
Yeah.
Gets checked around here. The turn is a 6.
Well, Eugene here now has picked up a gut shot straight draw. In late position, he's not going to bet it.
Well, Barry didn't bet the flop, and let's see if Barry's going to bet now on the button. He has the best hand.
Yeah, I'm surprised Barry did not bet. I mean, he had a pair,
Yeah.
and it's checked to you. Why not bet it? And now it almost screams a steal, doesn't it?
Well, he's going to bet 250 here. Sometimes, if he gets checked to Barry twice, he will automatically bet with anything.
Well, that's the thing. If you're a player, do you think he's doing this here? Because what hand would Barry check if it was on the flop?
And that's maybe what's going through Hobbs' mind here. Well, he's not going to get involved with it.
I wonder if Avo is going to call this. I mean, if I'm in Avo's spot, I might even check raise.
Well, Mike has got a 7, and this is going to get Avo out of the hand.
Yeah.
I think you got to throw a 7.
And Mike correctly calls Barry's hand.
Well, Mike calls him with a 5 kicker, though.
And the turn in the river is a jack. It's a third spade. And it just goes check, check. You wonder if Mike could have represented something there.
Yeah, Barry's going to win this here.
Yeah, king 7. Hobb would have gotten there. So Hobb mixing it up a little bit. Again, before in a big pot, he threw a nice bet out there. And the button moves over here to seat 7. Live at the bike. Bigger and better, Dave. Again, you can email us questions, comments. What do you think about the new look of the show? Some people have said, I can see here through the emails, that it looks nice.
Nice.
A widescreen.
That's a good word.
Some people say that their faces look a little bit squished.
Squished.
So, yeah.
Hey, I'm a big fan of the widescreen thing.
Yeah.
The future, it's all 16:9.
So we're not going to be gay lovers anymore?
No more, man.
Damn.
250 for a 7. I'll punch you in the chest.
Just didn't want it. I think it was best hand at that point.
Raise it.
And Mike is going to raise. He's going to raise it to 200. And George is going to call here. He's got Jack 10 offsuit. And the flop comes out 9-8-6. Mike's got middle pair and he's open-ended, but George is also open-ended. George's going to come out and bet.
Actually, Mike's got a straight. Oh no, he doesn't.
No,
I
he's
apologize.
middle
I
pair and
apologize.
open-ended. George is over cards and a open-ended straight draw, and George comes out and bets 500.
Yeah, both players have a pretty big hand here.
And Mike is going to call. And the turn is a 7, and George has made the nuts, and he's going to move all in. Mike's got 2 pair now.
Wow.
He just moves right all in here.
And I like the play here because if you you're really hoping Mike's got a 10.
Yeah.
You're hoping Mike's got the 10.
I mean, that is what he's really hoping for.
Yeah. Or you're hoping Mike can't get away from 2 pair here.
Yep.
Let's see if Mike can. I mean, it's kind of a strange bet, and I like the play by George here. The bet is somewhat, you're going, wait a second, why are you betting so much? What are you scared of? Don't you want to call if you have Jack 10? Wouldn't you want to call if you had a 10? What do you have? What, did that give you 2 pair also? Or does maybe George have a set? I mean, it's just odd the way he played it, and obviously that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to misrepresent his hand.
Yeah.
Make it look like he's scared of something.
Well, Mike would have called in a second here with the 10.
And this is the kind of play that you've got to do in a big no-limit game to be successful.
And he's going to make the call with 2 pair. Just a little bit of gamble. Wow.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I think George played it really well there. He bet so much.
Yeah.
Mike just could not put him on a straight. He said, you don't have a straight. There's no way you do.
He's tired of getting his ass busted.
And here we go to the river, and the river
Oh
is
my!
a 6. And look at that.
Oh, wait.
That is
No,
not
it's
going
not.
to fill him up.
I'm
You
sorry.
got all crazy
I
there for a
did, I
second,
did.
Dave. Did not fill him up. George is going to take it down with the straight.
I saw the board pair, and I swear I thought
Wow,
it was
that
a
would
full
have been a
house.
really bad beat there for George.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
I swear I saw the board pair. For a second, I thought he had 7-6 and not 7-8.
And Mike is calling back there and in for chips.
Oh,
Wow, what a hand.
I apologize, everybody. I really thought Mike had 7-6 for a second there.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, my. Obviously, we do this show live. It's unedited, unscripted. Oh, man, I thought, what a beat that would have been. I mean, if that actually was a full house for Mike, George might have flipped the table over.
And this one's going to get folded around here to the blinds. And George is not going to get involved. Eugene's going to take it down there off of the big blind.
I can't breathe. It's called the Alabama death penalty.
Button's going to move over here to seat 9.
My brother sent it to me. That's what he called it.
Pocket threes here for Eugene. We haven't really seen him play a hand yet.
You're that stuck, and I'll tell you. No, I'm not stuck. You're at least a 3-to-1 dog. You call all your chips.
Limp here. I think Barry might have the stream on his phone. Of course, we are on a 5-minute delay. Oh, it was a 400-pound naked woman.
Yeah, I thought it was probably, knowing Barry Woods, it was probably porn.
Four-way action here. Queen, Jack, 4 with a couple clubs.
I want to thank Isaac for sparing everybody with that.
Yeah. $250 bet here by Hav. Hav's got ace 8 of clubs. He's got the nut flush draw, and he's going to take it down.
Set up, please.
And the thing with Hav is he's not going to do it very often.
Yep.
But he wins enough pots here and there to keep himself better than a float. Makes a little money here and there, and if he gets, if he hits a big hand, well, then he gets paid off.
Yep.
There's no amount of money you can pay me to let that woman do that.
Button's going to move over here to seat 8.
And look at his chip down here. Avo's got $32,000, folks. He's in the lead. Now, he's bought in for about $32,000, so it's not really up. Barry's got about $8,400, and I want to say he's up probably about $1,000. Allen also up. He actually started the day with probably only about $6,000.
Yep.
George, and that's his second rebuy, but he's just doubled up off of Mike. So he might be even or even up a little now.
Button moves over here to seat 8.
But obviously, so far, our big winner is definitely Allen when he won that big pot where he flopped straight and not straight. And got paid off by Hobbs' George's top 2 pair.
He said it to me. Okay, so don't believe me.
Had to.
Mike is in the big blind here. And actually, the button's in seat 2. Why do I always do that, dude? Mix that up. Seat 2 has got the button. I think because I think
Were you
of it like a
dyslexic
clock.
as a kid or not?
Limp in here by George in seat 9.
3 players.
Limped around. 3-way action. 7, deuce 5. Deuce 4 are diamonds here for Avo. Bottom pair flush draw. Mike is open-ended, it looks like. Avo's going to bet 150. Avo's actually got a gut shot there. Mike has a gut shot. He does not have any diamonds, and he is not going to get
No,
involved.
it's a pretty big hand for Avo there. Pair. Board like that, he's got a pair and a flush draw.
Yeah.
I mean, with a board like that, his pair of deuces might be best hand.
Right.
And it was.
Try to be there by 1. Try to be down there by 1.
See a good look at Avo there with the hat.
Is that all right?
It's got that brown thing going on.
No, we will.
Big blinds over there in seat number 6. And the button is there with Mike. Going to get folded around here to the blinds. Again,
Wow,
pretty tight
Mike
table.
did not raise on the button? Man, you think he's just tired of playing against Barry Woods because he knows Barry Woods is going to call him anyway? I mean, I can't remember the last time I saw it folded around to Mike on the button, and Mike didn't raise.
Right. I know what you mean.
I mean, you wonder if he has a lot of respect for Avo, who's in the small blind against him, and if he knows Barry's going to call anyway.
You know, maybe he just doesn't want to gamble it up that much.
Obviously, higher stakes for him as well.
Yep. Email here from Chris C. Your commentary has really helped me with the show. I play a lot of five $50 single table tourneys a day. And it's really helped his game. Well, glad that we can help you with your tournament play, although this is a cash game.
Right. Well, obviously, a lot of the strategies do apply.
Right.
In terms of being aggressive, raising instead of calling.
Limped around here. 3-way action and the blinds. Ace, 7, Jack.
Well, Barry's outflopped George here. He's got a pair of 7s.
Yeah.
225.
George is going to bet here. 225. Stone cold bluff.
Yeah, he's got absolutely nothing, but he's going to take it down.
Yeah, Barry actually had, I believe, king. Yeah, 5-7 there, and he's going to take it down there.
Yeah, if you're calling a raise with 5-7 of clubs, that's not really a flop.
Well, especially when George leads out right into you,
Yeah.
you know. Absolutely.
I mean, we've seen George play 2 hands tonight. I mean, at least they've seen George play 2 hands. One where he went broke, where he had top 2 pair, and the other time he had the absolute nuts. So, obviously, George can use that image to steal a pot here and there.
Again, we're getting word that Kenna James is on his way over here, Dave. Could be arriving at any second.
Really? Oh,
well,
great.
from the other casino. We don't know exactly.
He's out of the tournament already.
Joseph Hashem is not here.
4 players.
Hashem. Why do I keep saying
I
that?
don't know.
Limped around here.
I think it's like a Jonas thing.
Queen 9-5. Couple spades. Pocket jacks over there for Allen in seat 9.
He did not raise
No.
in early position,
Nope.
but he's going to put a little feeler bet out there, see if his jacks are good.
He's going to bet 200 here.
And that'll probably get it done. Nobody's got anything here. I mean, George has got bottom pair with a 4 kicker. He's got 2 clubs. There's not a club out there. I mean, that's not the kind of hand. That's not the kind of flop I'm looking for if I have 4 or 5 of clubs. I like 4 or 5 of clubs, but I need to be connecting a little more. Yeah, and George is going to get away from this.
Yeah, George is not. And we're getting word that Ed is here, so he's going to be coming to the table momentarily.
What's the bet?
Got a shot of Ray over our. Actually, that's not Ray. That is actually Fred,
Yep.
other camera guy.
Other camera guy right there in the game. Hob folds
Hobbs.
6-3 of diamonds.
Fred hasn't been here for a while. I think I miss him. I like Fred.
And Allen's going to take it down there, playing the jacks a little bit passively.
Mo, you want the small?
Mo, you take it.
Yeah, well, he limped in. He was actually under the gun, limping in with Jackson. And I know a lot of players that will play it that way. Because jacks are a tough hand to play out of position if you raise it from under the gun.
Right.
And you get called in 3 or 4 spots, well, then what do you do?
Right.
Now you've built yourself up a real big pot, and if you don't hit a set, you could be in trouble. So you keep the pot small by limping in. If somebody else raises, well, then you can play it off then. Maybe you might even be able to re-raise then.
Well, limped and heads up here between Allen in the big blind and looks like Mike with 8-9 offsuit.
Well, neither players hit anything here.
Queen 6-3, check, check. Turns a king. Check, check again. And Mike is playing pretty passively tonight.
Yeah, well, Allen picked up the flush draw,
Yeah.
and Allen's got the best hand here with jack high.
Well, Mike's going to bet because he needs to bet. He's got 9 high. He's going to bet 125.
Wait, I think Allen actually said, what do you have, jack high?
Right. And Allen is not going to take it down. I think Mike flashed him the cards there.
Allen said it's not worth it. Okay. Surprised Allen didn't take a shot at it on the turn there when he caught the diamond draw.
Yep.
Said he said he was going to
Well, I guess seat 3 is going to be
All right, you just let me know when.
Oh, just do it.
Trish.
Do it on the cup.
And the button moves over here to seat 8. Mo's got king jack offsuit.
And obviously, we've got a must-move going on, by the way.
Yeah.
So we have our 2 25-50 games. So the players get funneled in from the other game into this game. And since Ed hadn't arrived yet, they're going to actually bring Trish in here.
Abo Ray's here with 7-9 of clubs. And he's going to take it down here.
Trish is actually a real solid player.
Yeah, this is a really tight lineup right now.
Well, the way Mike's playing, usually one player like Mike can really mix it all up. But Mike's playing
Right.
pretty in the box tonight.
Yep. Live straddle here by seat 4.
And it's funny, you know, Mike kind of gets Barry Woods going.
Straddle.
Well, Mike is going to straddle, though.
Yeah, he's going to straddle, so it's $100 to call. Now, Mo's got ace queen of spades over there in seat 8.
Yeah. He's going to... Wow.
He's going to make it 400 to go. He's not fooling around. 4 times the straddle amount. Mike's got 10-3 of diamonds, and Mo is going to take it down.
You know, it's funny. Sometimes when you watch a lot of these players playing 5-10, it almost looks like they're just giving money away. You're like, what is going on? These guys are just throwing money around.
Right, these guys tighten up a little
Yeah,
bit.
this is really, I mean, they're playing real poker tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Certainly not giving away a lot of money. I mean, if you
Buttons
look at
over.
the money on this table right now, you know, we've got probably close to $100,000.
Yeah, absolutely. Button moves over there to George in seat 9. And a live straddle here by... And actually, you know, I think Mike is Mike straddling here? I thought I could... Maybe Mike limped in under the gun.
No. Mike did straddle.
He's straddling
but Trish,
twice in a row.
Yeah, because Trish actually just joined the game.
Yeah.
Trish didn't want to take the big blind last time.
George has got pocket kings on the button in seat 1, and he is going to raise after a few limpers.
Wow.
Limp, limp, limp. And we had a raise here
Yeah.
by Barry Woods to 250, a call by Mo, and George's re-race with kings. He made it 1,000 to go, Dave.
Well, it was funny. I didn't see the original raise, and I was like, wow, he's raising an awful lot. But obviously, with a raiser and then a caller, there's already over $600 of dead money in the pot. And I think George was just happy to take it down right here.
And does Barry really want to play this hand out of position against George, one of the tightest players on the table in seat one? Nope, Barry's going to fold. And Mo says tens or jacks. And Mo folds as well.
Yeah, and
Pocket
Mo would
deuces.
love to play it if he had a lot more money, but Mo's not even deep enough to take one.
No.
I mean, you've almost got to have 50, 60 grand there to call.
Yeah.
Lines.
And again, George plays it pretty straight up. You got to put him on a big hand. He's not going to be doing re-raising with ace king or ace queen in that
Right.
spot. There's just
I mean, the
no
only
way.
thing there is you figure if you do hit your deuce, there's huge implied odds, and you probably get his entire stack.
Right.
But obviously, both players have to be very deep to make that worthwhile. Once again, we're live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. And we're playing No Limit Hold'em blinds at 25.50. It's our big game. It's our Wednesday game. We're experimenting with some new technology tonight.
Right.
Hope you're enjoying it.
Limped around, and Mike is going to raise out of the big blind. He's got ace king. He's going to make it 350 to go. Now Trisha's got an 8-10 of diamonds here in the small blind. George over there's got 10 deuce off suit, Dave. He's not going to play it. A little creative. Doyle Brunson hand. And Trisha's not going to play, and Mike takes it down.
I know you got a big hand, so I got to overbet. Plus, you can
I had 8-9 suited. I didn't have a big
Again, we haven't seen Eugene involved with any hands yet over there in seat 2, Dave.
no. I had
Well, I mean,
on the flop. Just psychic.
the guy plays 80 the other day. Then he moves up to play 500. Then we see him in the 1,000 game.
Right.
Like you said, I mean, I'm not saying this game is over his comfort level, but it's certainly going to tighten him up.
I understand that. I don't understand that. You're critiquing Allen, and you play worse than he did. If you had a position, you call it 250 with Jack 10 off suit.
And Mike is getting really on George for calling him Jack 10 off suit, out of position, winning that hand with the straight.
Only you can do those. Only you can do 250 with
No,
Jack.
but I'm not, you know.
Is that what you're saying?
My favorite is when Mike goes, "How do you call me?
How do you call the flop? You only have ace high.
How do you call me?"
Yeah.
And people correctly want to point out, Mike, you bet every single flop.
Well, Mike's got top pair here. He completed. And it went check, check, trying to trap Barry here with king 7. Turns to 10. And now Barry's got a pair. And now Mike's going to bet. And look at that. He gets a call from Barry. And the river here is a 7, and Mike makes 2 pair. King's up, and he bets again.
Barry can only beat a bluff here.
And he makes the call. 225 on the river. Mike's going to take it down there with king 7.
Well, I'll hand it to Mike. He checked it one time, and that was enough to trap Barry.
Yeah.
Hey, Barry. Thank you. Thanks.
Once again, we stream live cash games every Monday through Friday from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Pacific time. If that time's not good for you, the show is a live loop for the next 24 hours after that. So you can watch it whenever it's convenient for you. But obviously, we'd like to keep the show interactive, and it's only interactive and live from 7 to 10 Pacific time.
Allen is going to raise here. He's going to make it 250 to go out of seat 9. He's got pocket kings. And Mike here is going to call with 7-8 offsuit on the button, okay? Barry Woods has got a suited connector in the small blind, 9-10 of hearts. And you know what? Allen's going to need you to dodge. Hopefully one of these guys don't, flop 2 pair or trips or something, because he's got the overpair.
Yeah.
And he's deep. Here we go. Ace 10 deuce could save both players. Question now is Allen scared of the ace? Well, he's going to make a continuation bet.
400.
He bets 400.
I don't think you got any of that.
400 into about an $800 pot.
Well, Mike correctly says, I don't think you have any of that. He's right.
Tell me I'm not right.
The thing is, if you were at position on Allen, could you get him off of this hand with the ace up there?
You got to take your
Barry's not
spots,
going to
though.
get involved.
2 queens?
Allen is not the type of player I'm trying to bluff out.
I'll show you 1. 2 kings. It was definitely under the
A player like Allen, I want to value it.
Right.
You don't have to.
And then when you write your book,
Absolutely.
I ain't reading that shit, dude.
Mike, I'm gonna.
Look at this. Sylvester here has posted on 2+2, Dave. Sylvester, of course, has played the last few nights on Live on the Bike.
That's a big Christmas gift.
What does he say here?
He says, Barry Woods is better than I am.
You guys should go and go on the road. You guys are all so funny.
Button
Hey,
moves
he's
over
very
here to
modest.
seat 6.
Mocking, bitch.
Humble guy. I like that.
Mike is going to raise. He's going to make it 200 to go. He's got pocket 8s. Trish limped in with a king 10 offsuit in seat 3. Now, Mo's got 9-10. He's going to make the call, and Trish does as well.
All right, Trish, take his ass down.
3 players.
So here we go. 3-way action, $600 pot. Flop comes Jack 4-3. Misses everyone. And Mike, not a bad flop for 8s. He's going to make the continuation bet. Bet 600.
Bust him up, Mom.
I can't. I have none of it.
And he's going to take it down there.
Think he does?
That's true.
And there you go.
May have 3 for it.
Have you seen your long lost daughter yet?
Mike is in for about a buy-in here. Again, you can email us at live@thebike.com. Questions, comments, suggestions.
She pulled the bender. She's there for like a
Button moves over here to seat 7. That's Hav.
That comeback, though.
Pocket
Trish, that was
10s here for seat 2. That's Eugene. See if he enters the pot now.
Got tired of his first day.
He's on the short stack.
It's all right.
Remember, he raised to 325 last time with Queens, Dave.
75.
And this time?
He's going to make it 275.
Okay, I mean, that's pretty close.
And look at this. Mike is going to call him with 6-5 of hearts. I don't know if he himself or Eugene are deep enough to make that call. Barry Wood's got pocket 7s. He makes the call.
Well, once Mike's in there, he can definitely call. Now they have 2 players in there.
Play your cards out.
And here we go. We've got about an $825 pot going 3 ways. Eugene pre-flop raiser with pocket 10s. Wow, 3, 5, 6.
wow.
Mike's got top 2 pair, and Barry has an overpair.
Thanks.
Oh,
And
this
Eugene's got the overpair, the highest
Yeah,
overpair.
Barry's got the gut shot also. Now, Eugene, I know Eugene does not really respect Mike's betting.
And look at this. Eugene bets 400, and Mike raises to 1,000. Barry quickly gets away from 7s.
Wow.
And Eugene's not deep enough to get away from his hand, is he?
I don't know. I mean, let's see what he says.
He's a magician. He can swing.
Wow. The pot's about 1,600. It's 1,000 for Eugene to call. Actually, excuse me. The pot is 2,200. 1,000 for Eugene to call. And Eugene calls.
Yeah, and then Eugene needs a 10 or a 3 right now.
And over a $3,000 pot here. Oh, turns a 3. It counterfeits Mike.
Oh, wow.
Oh my! And Eugene doesn't have that much left. It's a $3,000 pot. Unbelievable.
Oh, that is just a terrible, terrible card for Mike there. Wow.
And Mike said, "Do you want to check it down?"
Well, Mike, of course Mike wants to check it down
Right.
now. He knows his 2 pair is garbage.
And Eugene says, "I'll check it down." Dave, he only has like 1,000 left. You got to think that's playing a little bit scared, right? And the river here is a 4,
Wow, Barry would have made a straight.
and Eugene's going to take it down there with 10s and 3s. Wow, and Eugene said, "I'll check it down." Okay.
I mean, you got to use that clue there.
Unbelievable.
If your opponent
Come on in, Sonny.
raises, and
Right.
then kind of a scary turn card comes out, and they go, "Hey, you want to check it down?"
Yeah.
You can almost, in that case, you can specifically put them on 6-5, can't you?
Right. Wow.
Come on in.
Unbelievable.
Well, we had 5 outs there. Obviously, if the turn hadn't paired,
Yep.
he would have picked up more outs in the turn. Man,
Button moves over here to seat 8. Well, here's an email here from R.D. Hickman. He says, "Bart and Dave, I love the big screen." Well, hopefully, again, those streaming problems are getting kinked away. Limped around here. Button's over there in seat 8. And here we go. Jack 4-3 on the flop. And Mike's going to come out and bet here. He's got 3-5. He's got bottom pair. He might be steaming a little bit, Dave, from the last hand. And Allen, again, like we said, he could be calling with absolutely anything. And if this goes to showdown, Mike is going to go ballistic. Turns an ace. I don't know. And look at this. It goes check, check. And the river's a queen. Is Mike going to bet now?
I don't. No.
No, he's going to check it down, and Allen's going to win it with a pair of 4s.
I'm curious.
Let's see if we can see
Mike's
Mike.
face. Yeah.
And Mike got a little bit gun shy there on the turn and on the river.
Because that's the problem. You never know what Allen has. He could be calling you with Queen Jack. He could be calling you
Right.
with Jack 10. I mean, a 4, 8-4 in that case. You never know.
Worst call in the world. Stupidest call I've ever made. Is that what you just told him? I told him I made the worst call of my life. Ace with the 8 of hearts.
Oh, man.
Worst call of my life.
I tell you, we're having fun here at Live at the Bike, folks.
You just said, but
Putt moves over to Allen in seat 9.
You know, obviously that we're playing for serious money here.
Right.
But people have got to remember that we're having a good time. A lot of these players are not professional poker players, and they're here just to have fun.
Four-way action here. George completed out of the small blind. Oh, that is hilarious. George's got top pair here with ace-jack. And he's going to come out and bet. Now, if you're someone like Mike, you really shouldn't even get involved here with the 7, right?
No,
I mean,
not-
George is betting out into multiple players.
Well, you've got second pair, no kicker, no redraw whatsoever.
Right. 275.
Did you listen? Yeah, you were wrong. I was right. Good read.
And is Allen making the call with ace-5?
The other one.
And that's what we're talking about, Dave.
And we're not. It's not like a $10 bet.
It was a $275 bet. Oh, and the turn's an ace.
Mike.
And George just made 2 pair, and Allen.
Is drawing dead.
And actually, George checks it, and Allen checks right behind him. And the river is a 7.
Yeah, and Allen's dead here.
Yeah.
Allen's got aces and 7s with a jack kicker.
And George's going to come back and bet like 500 here.
Right, and George obviously has aces and jacks with a 7 kicker.
And Allen is going to make the call, and he got himself in trouble, Dave. Wow. Unbelievable, and Mike would have made trip 7s. And Allen didn't show that hand down there, but he called the flop with an ace. And then, he shows the ace now. And if he doesn't have 2 pair, people are going to think, what did you call the flop with?
Right. The funny
And
thing,
that's what George just said. What did you call the flop with?
yeah, the funny thing is Allen just said that this was the worst call I've ever made. No, I think this call was worse.
I bet the flop.
Now, obviously, the interesting thing is Mike says, yeah, I would have made trips. But if it was 3-handed there, I don't think there's any way George checks the turn.
Right.
George is going to bet that turn, and he's going to get Mike off the hand anyway.
Right.
He took my concentration away from the game.
You guys, man, this is better than.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Yeah, a couple. You guys would be perfect.
Live straddle here by Mike.
You guys just get a play.
Well, now we're loosening it up a little, huh?
Yep.
We can get some type of reality show.
Checked around. 3-way action.
My brother from another mother.
One of us will be dead in half an hour.
Top pair here for Allen. He's got jack 9.
Yep.
But Mike is going to bet 300. And I'm pretty sure Allen will just call this. Once again, you never know what Allen has. Is he calling with a 4, a jack, spades? You have no idea.
Allen calls.
It's really tough to put Allen on a hand.
And we're heads up, Queen 7 against Jack 9. The turn's a 5. Mike needs a queen. Mike's going to bet again. He bets 600 now.
Well, he figures, you know what, if Allen has 8-4 again this time, maybe I can get him off it.
And Allen calls again.
And
And the pot's over about $2,400 as we go to the river. Let's see if Mike just gives up. Oh, the river's a queen.
wow, and he's going to bet it.
And he bets. He bets 1,000. Wow. Unbelievable.
I mean, most players would check that on the river once
Yeah.
they hit their hand, right? But Mike is not most players. Very unconventional.
Trying to figure out what draw you can
Get ready to smile.
Man.
We all know what follows that.
Now, I was going to say, oftentimes when a board is like that, Jack 10 with 2 spades, I don't like to bluff into it because I'm not sure if my opponent has a jack or they have a draw.
Right.
It's really difficult to put your opponent on a particular hand.
No, less than that.
But like I said, Mike is an unconventional player.
Well, Allen hasn't made the call yet. What a river for Mike. $1,000 bet. The pot's about $3,000, $1,000 a call.
I mean, what would Mike bet here on the river? I mean,
Yeah.
you wouldn't think normally he would bet a queen.
Right.
You'd almost think that he's betting a missed draw. Or he had a monster already. Now, Mike did not raise it pre-flop out of the straddle spot, so
Right.
you probably don't put him on ace-king.
And Allen is not going to pay him off there. What
Yeah.
a river. Wow. But you got to think, though, if an overcard hadn't come to the jack, Allen's definitely going to call with top pair only.
Yeah,
Right.
I'd imagine you would.
Right.
I'm just surprised. I mean, in that case, Mike actually had a queen. But how do you put? Why would the queen be a scary card?
Yep.
I mean, unless you put your opponent on, say, king queen, which obviously would be open ended, or if you put him on spades with, say, the queen high flush draw.
Email here from Jimmy Joe Manzel. Hey, this is this is Anthony from Sydney, Australia. A lot of those Australians are wondering where Joseph Hashem is. Hashem. Well, he's not here.
That was the reason I put
So I hope that helps you.
Yeah.
The email. The button moves over here to seat 2.
Because
Yeah, unfortunately, he had a something else came up
Yeah.
and had to fly out of town real quick. But supposedly he will come. He's flying back to town.
He's
so.
supposed to. You know what? Mo said. Mo apologized, but he said that next week's lineup should be great. We should see him, Antonio, Mike Matisau, and some other players. So.
Obviously, these players are not paid to play in the game.
Right.
So they come and go at their own whim. Button is in seat 3, small blind.
That's why I said 10 8. That's why I was thinking 10 8. You would have called him Jack.
Small blind is $25. Big blind is $50. And first to act under the gun is Barry Woods. Barry Woods has got pocket 4s in first position. He'll probably limp in. Calls for a limp in here, I would imagine. And he does.
Suited. 8-4? That's a sweet kick.
King Jack in late position for Eugene in seat 2. See if he raises it up when it gets to him. Bunch of limpers. And in late position with King Jack offsuit, Eugene is just going to limp. Now, King Jack's not a great hand, but I don't really like to see it multi-way. I'll often raise in late position or fold. And the flop comes 9-6-5. Mike has got the best hand here, the pair of 6s.
I sure will.
Now, some people might say to me, how do you, if it's limped around, why wouldn't you just toss a couple of chips in there with King Jack? And yeah, I probably would. You just got to understand that King Jack offsuit is not a hand you want to take much heat with. Wow, and Eugene called with nothing. He only had overcards, did not have a heart, catches the jack, and now the river is a 7. And Mike is going to try to represent something here. Obviously, he thinks he needs to bet, maybe get Eugene off of, like, say, a 9 or maybe a... I'm trying to think of another hand that maybe Eugene would have that he called the flop with. Mike is trying to represent the 8 here, and it's going to work. Well, Mike bluffs him off the hand. I'm not sure exactly why Eugene took one off on the flop. Sometimes with overcards you can go for that. But hey, if Eugene caught a king there, it was no good, because Mike obviously had king 6. Talk about reverse implied odds. And maybe that would have gotten Eugene in trouble. Turns out he called, he got there, and still laid it down. Button moves over to Mike in seat 4. Hobb is first to act. He's not going to play. Got ace jack of clubs in early position for Mo, and he's going to raise it up.
Yep. He's going to make it 150 to go, Dave. And Georgian's going to call. He's got pocket 8s back there. Seat 2 is going to make the call with 8-6 of clubs. Trish is going to come in. We're going to see a family pot here. This is where Mo says, he's changed his game up. He's a little conservative. If he doesn't hit this flop, I don't think he's going to bet into everybody here.
Well, he's got 4 players behind him. I mean,
5-way action. We're looking at about an $850 pot to the flop 5 ways. Well, 10, 9, deuce.
Well, nice flop for Mike there. Mike is on the button with an open-ended straight draw.
And overcards. Now, George is not going to bet in here. I was wondering if George might make a bet here with 8s. And Mike is going to take a card. He does not bet. Amazing. And the turn is an ace. And Mo's got top pair now.
How do you not bet that flop?
And Mo's going to bet 300 here. And Mike says, I had you beat. And he makes the call with the straight draw. Here we go to the river. The river's a 5. No help. It's a diamond, though. And what is Mo going to do?
By the way, my aces were both
Mo checked.
And is Mike going to represent diamonds here?
Well, Mo is going to give Mike just enough rope to hang himself.
And Mike's only going to bet 600, Dave, into a pot that's about 1,600.
And I imagine this is an easy call from Mo.
$600 into about a $1,600 pot. So it's about a $2,100 to $2,200 pot, $600 to call.
I will come dressed as a girl tomorrow if Mo lays this down. There's no way Mo's laying this down. No chance. Mo, don't let me down here.
Lay it down, Mo. Lay it down.
Don't lay me down. Come on.
I'm sitting beside Alan. I'm learning something.
I mean, you can't even put him on diamonds. I mean, because normally, would a player on the button check a diamond draw? If it gets checked to him? Yeah,
And he makes the call.
Yeah, I was going to say, okay.
And Mike's on a busted draw. You know, Mike is kind of playing it a little bit. I mean, I'm sure he's not scared of the amount of money, but he slowed down a lot tonight, Dave.
Oh, come on. He played that. I mean, he played that as bad as you can play it, okay? I like Mike's game, and he's going to have to admit that when he watches the archives and he sees that hand. He could have taken it away on the flop.
Yeah.
But instead, he goes, nah, I'm going to see if I can hit my hand and maybe win a big pot.
Right.
You know, maybe somebody tries to steal in turn after I hit my straight. Well, then he misses it. Mo bets it. Okay? He calls Mo instead of raising him there. And then he bluffs up another $600. And you knew what Mo was doing. You know?
Checking to induce a bluff.
Exactly. Check to induce a bluff, basically handing Mike the rope to hang himself.
Email here from Matt Messica. Says, guys, I love the commentary and analysis. What do you think, or who do you think, is the better player for the 25-50 game, Barry or Allen?
Man.
If you do that to me, I'm going to send her over.
I mean, you're asking me if I had to back somebody and put my own money at risk, I would probably give it to Barry.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
Barry's aggressive style will win out in the long run over Allen's passive style.
Well, we got three-way action here. Limped around two ways in the blinds. Ace 8-5 with a couple of diamonds. Checked around here. Turns a third diamond. We haven't heard much from Avo.
Hey, well, Mike has got an open-ended straight flush draw.
Yeah, he's got the 7 of diamonds here. And he's going to throw a little $100 bet out here. $100 bet into about a $200 pot. Avo's not going to get involved. Hobbs not going to get involved. And is Allen going to make the call with bottom pair here? For 100? Nope.
No,
For 100, you never know, Dave.
No, you'd never know. The interesting thing about that last hand, a lot of people will say to me, well, why not take the free card? You've got such a big draw.
Right.
The problem is there are a lot of hands in there that might not make you good. I mean, let's say a queen comes out there.
Yeah.
He's actually behind somebody who has king-queen.
Yep.
I mean, you want to get those kind of hands out of there.
Button moves over here to seat 6.
And you got to realize that obviously you're only going to hit that draw about one out of 3 times if you get 2 cards.
It's a very strong semi-bluff. And if he bet there, obviously he would have taken it down.
Yeah.
I mean, Mo wasn't going to get involved with 3 people after him.
There's also another way to play it, too. If you bet the flop there and somebody does call you, they'll probably check to you again, and you can take the free card on the turn if you want to.
Got a little raise here by Barry Woods on the button. He's going to make it 175 to go with Queen 9 of Hearts. George Georgian's going to call here, 6-5 offsuit. And Trish is in there with an ace wheel card drag. Here we go, about a $525 pot going 3 ways. Oh, all hearts and Barry's flop the flush. Trish has got the nut flush draw.
Wow.
And Trish might bet the draw, and she does.
People love to bet the ace of hearts when they have it.
She's going to bet 300 now for Barry here. If you put some more money in the pot, and he is going to raise with his made flush.
I love that.
Trish has got a wheel draw as well.
Right, obviously the wheel's no good, but she doesn't know that.
She's got a wheel and a flush draw here.
If she puts him on a jack only.
And look at this. She's going to make the call here. And we've got about a $2,000 pot here going heads up. The turn's a deuce.
And that's a scary card if you're Barry.
Trish is going to check. And Barry is going to bet $2,000, a stack of whites.
Wow.
Putting the pressure on
her.
I
don't think Trish can call this now. I mean, the pot is how much?
Well, now the pot is about $4,000, $2,000 to call. And Trish can make this call. She's got about $2,500 in front of her. It would almost put her all in.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, you're only getting 2-1 without any implied odds.
Yeah.
You think, okay, maybe my 3 is good, and obviously if a heart comes, I'm good. But that's it.
She says she's got a great draw. That's what she just said to Barry. And she does. Yeah. But Barry's flopped the flush. And again, like you said, not really an implied odds question here.
No, I think it's pretty easy lay down here. 1 card to come.
It's a $4,000 pot, $2,000 to call.
And I think she's working out in her head right now. You can see it. You know, maybe she has 9 outs, maybe she's got 12 outs, but Yeah, she's going to lay it down.
Lay it down.
Good lay down by her.
Well, again, Trish, the exact opposite of her son. I mean, Mike makes that call in a second, I think, right? Or Mike might move all in on the flop to Barry's raise. You never know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, who knows?
Nice hand there from Barry Woods.
You're looking 2,000 there,
Man,
2,000 here.
The weird thing, I really do like Mike's game. I know you and I constantly argue about Mike's game.
Well, I like some of the things that he does, Dave, but
Right,
I think
right.
that he really has, a propensity to call down too much.
But, I mean, the one thing that drove me nuts about that last hand with Queen Jack, I mean, you realize the pot was already $750.
Yeah.
So instead of winning a $750 pot,
Yeah.
he ended up losing an additional $900 because he called a $300 bet and he bluffed another $600. Basically, we're talking about a $1,650 swing, but just not betting that flop. Man.
We've got a post here on 2+2 by Chester, and he says, even though the stream is having a little bit of difficulty, not in so many words, the actual camera work and directing is very good tonight. Well, thank you, Chester. Again, we're working out the kinks with these new cameras. We're having some streaming problems. We're going to see four-way action here. King,
Ooh.
3-5, and George has got middle set.
Now, Barry's got top pair. This will test the theory of can Barry get away from top pair. Let's see. Barry's got top pair, no kicker whatsoever, no redraw, really. He's got two clubs in his hands. George has got a set, and he checked it, and he's assuming he's probably going to throw a little check raise in there. Barry bet $150 into the pot, and George just calls, and he checks blind. And the turn is a 10 of diamonds. Now, the problem is there's not really much of a draw out there. But Barry's going to bet anyway. You got to think, what is George calling me with?
He bets 400, and George calls.
I mean, it's a rainbow board. Unless you specifically put George on deuce 4,
Right.
there's no draw, folks.
And the river's a queen.
And now and George has called here.
And George just checked it down. George played that slow. He called the turn, and checked the river.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, George might hammer me for criticizing him here, but I really think he misplayed that hand. I mean, I think the way to play against Barry is really value betting against him, forcing him to call you. And, if George just bets a little on the flop and then bets a little more on the turn and then a little more on the river, he probably gets called all three times.
Yeah.
But by checking, calling, you don't get quite enough money in there.
Well, someone on 2+2 said that Kenna is 15 minutes away, leaving the other casino, and he'll be here momentarily.
Wow, okay.
So there you go.
Great.
And he will play right into Mo's seat when he comes over here. We got a $200 raise here by Mike with ace, queen of spades.
Now, we might not see the crazy Kenna that we normally see. I mean,
Yeah.
these are obviously high stakes we're playing for tonight.
Mike has raised it up here with ace, queen of spades. And he's going to take it down.
Take it down, Mike.
With wearing his nice pink shirt. Drinking a red Snapple. Or is that Avo's red Snapple behind him?
Do you have a pink shirt?
I do.
Yeah?
I do indeed. I might wear it one time.
Really?
Yeah. And Mike is going to straddle here out of seat 4. He's got ace-3 offsuit.
What? Did I say something out loud? I thought I said that to myself. Yes.
Now, Eugene has got ace-jack offsuit in the small blind. You know that Mike is probably going to raise out of the straddle spot here. Now, George has got a suited connector. He is going to make the call. Eugene calls. And is Mike going to raise out of the straddle spot? He does not with ace-3. Well, there you go. Here we go, three-way action. Wow, ace-9-10, and Eugene has the best hand, but Mike also has top pair, and George is open-ended.
Yeah.
And Eugene's going to bet 300 here, 200.
Now, George has got the ass end of the open-ended here. He's got backdoor flush draw.
And Mike is going to raise. Let's see how Eugene plays this now out of position. You know, the funny thing is, if I was Eugene, I couldn't necessarily put Mike on an ace because he would have raised out of the straddle spot, I would have thought.
That scares me more. I mean,
Right.
I want Mike to have the ace.
Almost calling up his boys. We were playing basketball Friday night.
A bet here by Eugene and a raise by Mike.
But it's a scary board. I mean, you got to think, okay, well, I can't beat ace-10, I can't beat ace-9.
It's a $1,000 pot, 500 for Eugene to call.
Ace-jack is just a tough hand to play, especially out of position, folks.
And that's what Eugene is saying. Do you have 9-10? 9-10?
You can have anything here, obviously.
And he makes the call, and the turn's a 9. Pot's now 1,500.
And if a card higher than a jack comes out, they'll chop it up. But Mike is drawing dead for the folks. Obviously, a 3 will do nothing for Mike here.
And Mike is going to bet again as it gets checked to him. He's going to bet 1,000. I think Mike told Eugene that he had Jack 10 before. Now he says, I have Jack 9. Mike bets 1,000. The pot is 3,000, 1,000 for Eugene to call.
Now, sometimes you can look at odds here, but you've got to realize that if your opponent does, in fact, have a 9 or have a full house here, you're going to be faced with another bet on the river.
And Mike says, I have ace-jack now. And Eugene says, I have ace-jack too. And Eugene has, I mean, this is pretty much going to put him almost all in.
That information doesn't make it any easier, does it?
No, he's got another 2,000 behind.
Well, he's got about, yeah, you're right. He's got about maybe 2,500 there.
And he's got 1,000 that he's playing with.
Well, the word I'm getting on the floor is it's actually $2,600 pot, 1,000 to call. Mike's made a $1,000 bet here.
And Mike's got another, if you're thinking of what it'll cost you on the river if you call this. Because obviously if you call this, you're calling no matter what comes on the river, right? You're not calling here with ace-jack and then folding to like a non-scary card.
Well, if you make the call here, the pot balloons to over 3,500. Mike only has maybe 1,000 left, right?
Yeah, and Mike is drawing dead to winning this pot. He can only chop the pot, and he chops it if a 9 comes out. He'll chop it if a queen or a king come out. And obviously if the case ace comes out, they will chop it.
Actually, Mike's got maybe 1,500 there or so.
Okay.
You can't wait an extra 30 seconds to make $1,000?
And what is Eugene going to do?
I'll leave to the
And he's going to make the call, Dave. And it's a $3,600 pot to the river.
And he's in great shape here.
He needs to dodge a chop card, and there it is. He's good right now if he stays into showdown. 3,600 in the pot. And will Mike just check it down now? Does he think he needs to bet to win?
I think he knows he needs to bet.
And look at this. He's going to move all in as it gets checked to him. And let's call it another $1,500. It's a $5,100 pot.
And I mean, the 6 of clubs changes nothing. You cannot lay this down. Once you make that turn call, you cannot lay this down.
And how much are we getting word here? It is another 1,900. So it's 1,900.
So you got to call 1,900 to win a $5,400 pot.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so you're getting.
And his kicker plays.
Yeah, you're getting a little bit over. You're getting a little bit under 3-1 on your money.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't think. Why would you call 1,000 on the turn?
Right.
You've got to realize if you're playing no limit, you've got to look at your opponent's stack and know that the rest of it might go in on the next street.
Trying to get a read here from Mike.
And obviously Mike knows he needs to bet that. If he thought maybe he had the best hand, there's no way he bets the river.
Right.
But I think he believes Eugene when Eugene said he had ace-jack.
Well, and Eugene pretty much can cover this bet. It pretty much put him all in.
And if Eugene calls this, by the way, Eugene might become our big winner so far.
Yeah, it'll be over about a $7,500 pot. He's still thinking about it, but like you said, the 6 on the river is inconsequential to this hand. It really is.
It means absolutely nothing, right? He's got aces and 9s with a jack kicker.
Mike has stood up now. And look at Eugene. I think he lays it down. Oh, my. Unbelievable.
Wow, what a play by Mike.
Wow,
what a play by Mike.
Wow, and he does not show the hand.
And you know what? I'm not going to hide here, okay? Because I know Eugene is going to go home and watch the show, and I hope he listens to me here. I have no problem laying down ace-jack. Ace-jack is a garbage hand.
Right.
I'll often lay down ace-jack, but if you call the turn, you can't fold it on the river, okay?
Right.
If you're going to fold that hand, you got to get rid of it on the turn. I mean, you're getting almost 3-1 on that. What, you don't think Mike can bluff that often?
Yeah.
I mean, there's just too big a chance that Mike's got an ace also.
Unbelievable. Wow.
It's another one of those cases also you got to look at it and go, Mike is betting because he thinks he has to.
Right. And he had to think that his hand was no good there on the river.
Of course.
7-way action limped around, and Eugene, if he made that call, would have been up big. Ace 8-6 here, a couple diamonds.
Hey, let's give Mike credit, though.
Yeah.
He's now bluffed him out twice now, and Mike is on fire.
Now, Alan's got an ace here. And he gets checked around. Alan does not bet. The turn's a jack. It's a third diamond. Eugene now has a straight draw on the queen of diamonds, nut second flush draw. And now Alan's going to bet with the ace. He bets 200.
Well, it's not like the jack of diamonds is a scary card, is it?
And Eugene makes the call. And he's going to need to catch a king or a diamond here. And Mo's going to make a move. He's going to raise here with pocket deuces.
Yeah, you know what? He senses the weakness.
He's going to make it 700. And look how quickly Alan folds. And Eugene, remember, we talk about when someone puts in a small bet in the turn and it's just a call, it's a great place to make a steal.
Exactly.
And Mo's picked his spot there.
Well, you figured if Eugene had a real hand at all, and the river would have been an ace, actually.
Yeah, and there's no way that Mo would have got Alan off that hand.
No. But you figure if Eugene's got anything, really, he probably would have raised Alan.
Yep.
Mo knows Alan so well.
Right.
Just like we do. Great steal
Well, I think
by
you
Mo.
really hit the nail on the head the previous hand. If you're going to make the turn call by Eugene, you have to call the river.
Yeah.
Because you got to look at, when you make the call on the turn, you have to figure out the pot, the amount of the pot, how much Mike has left, and you have to be prepared to call an all-in, right?
Well, that's the nature of no limit. You
Right.
have to know if you're calling with ace-jack. The odds of your hand improving are very slim in that case.
Right.
Which means, okay, if I'm calling this 1,000, I'm calling all in if he goes all in next time.
Got a raise here on the button by Trish. She's going to make it 250. She's got pocket jacks. Alan limped in with a 7-4 of hearts.
Yeah, you don't want to get involved heads up with his Trish. And Alan, even Alan knows that. Yeah, he throws it away.
Email here from Cathal McFadden says, I'm loving the show. It's the first time I've watched. Love the game. The commentary is great. From Galway in Ireland. And I've been there before.
I love Ireland.
Yeah.
Man.
Large test.
Button moves over here to seat 4.
Call your hand. That hand?
I mean, I'm not sure if I call with ace-jack.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a good chance I probably lay that down too, but I just probably lay it down on the flop on
Right.
the turn.
Get out of here.
Button moves over there to seat 4. Pocket kings here for seat 1. That's George, Greek poker god.
300.
He's going to make it 300 to go. Now, Mike's got 3-4 diamonds on the button. Is he going to take this heads up? He does not.
Yeah, I just don't think you can call when it's 300. I mean, that's a pretty big bet, especially heads up. I want 3 more players in there.
Well, again, and you're talking about a guy that might lay an overpair down if you flop. Say the flop comes up 9-3-4.
Yeah.
He might lay that down. Now, maybe not necessarily to
Against Mike, right.
But
obviously, you've got to figure that out. Like, if you're playing against George, right, and George knows the kind of player you are,
right,
and you really bet strong into him, he's going to put you on a set or better.
right.
2 pair or better.
And we're getting word that Kenna James is here, so I'm sure he'll be here momentarily.
Glad to see Kenna, but obviously that means that he did not fare well in the tournament tonight.
Yeah.
Too bad for him. Obviously, we wish him the best. And they're going to chop this up, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Chop
they
it
are.
up. Haven't really heard that much from Hav. But he's up when he just made that, first-hand semi-bluff with ace-9 of spades.
Hobbs' game, I'm a big fan of Hobbs' game. I mean, he's not going to play many hands.
Right.
It was really interesting, obviously, on Friday night when you were in the game, we had Hobb in the booth as kind of a guest commentator.
Right.
And he did a really good job. And I actually really like his game. He'll play maybe 5-6 hands a night.
Yeah.
But when he plays them hard.
Button moves over here. And Mo I believe, is going to get up because he's actually playing over Kenna, that we had a seat locked up for Kenna.
Okay.
So we're going to see Kenna come into the game over there in seat 8. Mike's got pocket jacks, and he's going to raise.
Yeah.
Makes it 250 to go.
Collection, yeah, I have a feeling.
Pocket,
Imagine, Barry's going to call this with deuces. isn't he?
pocket deuces, and Alan's got 7s in the big blind.
Drops, and he gets one.
And once deuces call, 7s can call.
Now remember, Barry, he made a raise when an ace appeared against Mike earlier on when Mike had raised with king-queen.
Yeah, let's see if that play can work here.
See, here we go to the flop.
Well,
9-5-4. Is Alan going to get himself in trouble? Barry, Mike bet 600 here.
I mean, it's not a bad flop for any pocket pair. I mean, if you put your opponent on big cards, say, you know, ace, king, ace, queen, king, jack.
Barry's not going to get involved with it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Let's see what Allen's going to do here.
Allen looks like he's got raisin chips in mind. I think he's going to do the old fake smile here.
Do you think he's
isn't
going to fold, though? I don't think so.
he? You sure?
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, he's gonna.
He's going to raise, Dave. He's going to make the check raise here with pocket sevens. Let's see how much more it is.
Wow, I love the play. And this really puts Mike to the test here. Mike's got an overpair, but it's Allen, and Allen never shows strength unless he's got it.
Allen's made the mini check raise here. He's made it 1,200 to go, 600 more, but Mike is going to make the call. And if Allen now is $3,000.
And if Allen really pushes on the turn,
Oh, the turn's a deuce. Barry
Wow.
would have made a set.
Oh, let's see. Barry's probably he's probably sick in his stomach right now.
And Allen's going to bet 1,000, and Mike instantly calls. And Mike's not going anywhere. Got about a $5,000 pot here. Here we go to the river. The river is a 6. It's a third diamond. And let's see how much Allen's going to bet. 1,000 again.
No, that's not going to do it.
And Mike is just going to call.
Yeah, well, that's an easy call in the river.
And it's going to be a $7,000 pot that Mike's going to take down there with jacks.
And I'll throw this at you the same way. Now, that once the turn comes a deuce,
Yeah.
and Allen bets 1,000, Mike has to realize if I'm calling here, I'm calling the whole way.
And here you go. You know, I'm going to kind of knock on Mike a little bit again, but I guess he had the right read. What I was going to say was, if I have jacks and Allen check raises me in that spot, you know, if I hadn't seen him make that play, because we've been watching him for about a year,
Right.
that can instantly goes to the muck for me. Wouldn't you say?
I agree with you, but you know what? Let's give Mike credit. Maybe he read something. He obviously read Allen right,
Yeah.
and he read that his jacks were good.
Here comes the cowboy. There he is.
We should really have like Kid Rock, like the
Yeah.
what is that? I Want to Be a Cowboy song. Bringing it in.
Here's the cowboy.
Good old Kenna.
Yeah. And obviously we know that Barry Woods and Kenna James knocked heads the last time they were on the show.
Oh,
a few
they've got
months ago.
history.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a great call by Mike. I mean, jacks hit the muck 9 out of 10 times if I'm playing against Allen in that case.
Looks like Trish limped in with pocket jacks over here in seat 3. Barry Woods has got an ace-5 of hearts. And he might raise here. It is. He's going to make it 275. The question now is, how is Trish going to play jacks here? Barry raises a lot on his button and on the cutoff. He kind of goes with, you know, the way that we, you know, preach playing. If you have jacks, do you think you have the best hand? Does this call for the limp re-raise by Trish in C3?
I think it really depends on how many players call in between.
If you get some extra dead money, you think you could limp re-raise, or you might just play it slow?
Yeah, if you get a lot of extra dead money in there, you can definitely limp re-raise. And if
you know, Haas in the hand, we can't see his hand. But he's in there, and he's thinking about something. Again, we can't see his cards.
And he's going to throw it away. I mean, you can a lot of ways to play jacks here. I mean, you can definitely smooth call and see the flop and see what happens, trap your opponent. Obviously, if an ace, a king, or a queen come out, it's scary, and you're out of position.
Now, Eugene here makes the... And Trish is going to pull the limp re-raise.
And this is obviously the other way to play the hands.
Yeah.
And really put pressure on Barry.
Yeah.
And I don't think Barry can even call this.
She's going to make it 800 more.
And Barry's hands, obviously, I don't think there's any chance Barry calls this.
Yeah, ace-5 of hearts. I just can't. I mean, he does have position on her, but...
Yeah, but it's Trish.
Yeah.
If it was Mike, if it was somebody else, okay, but... You got to put Trish on minimum of jacks or tens, right?
Yeah.
You know, Barry's got to know that he's got 3 outs at best.
800 more here. Barry, don't get involved with those ace rags, right? My goodness.
Well, this is one of those cases he'll win a small pot or lose a big one.
Yeah.
I mean, if he calls us and he catches his ace, you know, is Trish really going to go broke on it? Although in this case, the pot is big enough that she might get herself involved.
And Kenna is bought in for 10,000, I'm getting word. Oh, and Barry makes the call. Wow. Wow, 10-9-3. Trish has got the overpair. And she's going to move all in here. Yeah, I mean, Barry's got to really figure that the ace, and, you know, he doesn't even necessarily know if the ace might even be good there.
No,
I never
like I said, he's got at best 3
Yeah.
outs. He's got to know that.
Unbelievable.
Well, he felt like giving her an extra $550. He had raised it up to $250, and she re-raised it up to $800.
Yep.
And Trish gets paid off in a big way there.
Yeah.
You know what? Barry took some of her money. I guess he just wanted to give it back to her.
Yep.
I want to say our big winners so far now. Mike, after getting spanked early by George, made a nice comeback.
I'd love to see Kenna, Mike, and Barry get involved in some hands here. It's going to be crazy. Now, Eugene's got pocket jacks here in the big blinds.
Good. I know you hesitated down there to call.
Got several pocket pairs. 5s, 4s, 3s, and jacks in this hand.
We got some money on this table, huh?
Yep. This should be a good final hour and a half.
Yes.
Want to change it to 510? That's strong.
That's true.
Man, this ain't for chumps.
That's an old Kenna line for you. That's strong.
Lots of raise.
Eugene is going to raise it up here out of the blind with jacks.
That's strong. Stronger.
I think maybe Kenna thought he was getting involved in a 10-20 game.
Yeah.
300 more.
Look at all those pocket pairs out
Well,
there.
Eugene's only going to make it 300 more. Now, the only thing saving grace here for other people is maybe Eugene just doesn't have enough for you to
Wait,
call
he's
a
only
300
going to make it 300 more?
Yeah.
How much do you want to make it? It's a limp round pot. It's only $50.
Well, the pot's 300 total.
Right, okay. I mean, I'm just curious what you'd think you should make it.
Oh, he's going to take it down here. Well, I want to drive people out. And necessarily, not against this lineup, you never know.
Right, no, I understand what you're saying, but I mean, I've got pocket jacks. I don't want to change it up too much. I mean, I'm raising 6 times the big blinds. Remember, there's no re-raising there, and everybody's limped in. So I'm assuming that nobody's got a real premium hand. Hey, if somebody wants to call me with a 1 out, with 1 overcard, go ahead. I got jacks.
George is showing him 1-3 here. And Eugene shows him the jacks. And I think Eugene might be playing a little bit. I don't want to go so far as to say scared, because I think I was playing a little bit scared on Friday. But after taking that big loss to Mike,
Yeah.
I think he's just happy to take it down right there with the jacks.
Well, I mean, I actually think, just to play devil's advocate there, I really thought a $300 bet was actually a nice race.
Yeah.
$300 in the pot. Okay, I'll raise the pot.
I really, again, think that Corporation Mike's game would be really suited well for tournaments.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Ace Queen here for Hob. He's going to make it 400 to go.
And Mike is really on his game tonight. Makes a big call off Allen.
Yeah.
Bluffs George out. I mean, bluffs Eugene out.
Who gives you a hard time?
Don't start being Mike. Okay?
Yeah, both of us.
What respect Hob gets to this table, huh?
You can say whatever to me.
And again, he can definitely come out of the night positive. I mean, it just takes one hand. I mean, you put in 3 hours in this game and you win $1,000. Well, what else? What more do you want?
Well, you think about it. Let's in comparison. You're playing a 30-60 limit game, right? For 1 round of that,
Right.
you're paying $50 in blinds.
Right.
Here, you're paying $75 in blinds.
Right.
But if you win 1 pot in this game, just 1 pot, it's $1,200-$1,300. That pays for a couple of hours
Right.
of blinds.
You guys been chatting it up the whole
Very
time,
easily.
or is this just an...
Barry's going to limp in here. Kenneth's got Jack 7 offsuit.
I mean, I haven't even said anything. I got here. It's all.
You're usually the loud one, man. Now you're sitting quiet.
We're waiting for you to get here.
And Kenneth's going to limp in. Now, Mike's got Queen Jack of diamonds in the blind. Is he going to pop it up here out of the big blind?
Kenna limping in with Jack 7 offsuit.
Yeah. Kenneth plays a lot of hands.
Yeah, he likes to see a lot of flops. Huh?
Yeah. Mike is going to check the table, and we're going to see it 5 ways limped around. So 250 here. Now, if a Jack comes, will Kenneth get into a little trouble?
That's not the monster I'm looking for.
Ace 10 here. Mike's got a gut shot.
Oh my goodness.
Kenna,
Huh?
what do you got? You got any bucket?
Is it up to me? It is. No, that's unreasonable. 125.
But he's going to bet 125 here. Maybe he figures everybody missed. Now, let's see what Mike is going to do with the gut shot.
Usually I'd peel one off.
Oh, he's not. The funny thing about, Kenna's game is this is kind of the strategy that he falls into in tournaments, trying to win a lot of small pots when he thinks everyone else has missed, right?
Well, I mean, a flop like that, we always talk about, it's a 3 flush. A
Right.
flop like that, ace 10,
Yeah.
in an unraised pot. Man, I mean, it's tough to call.
Right.
Even if you have, let's say you have 10-9 even, it's
Right.
tough to call.
Right.
In that case, the pot was $250. Bets half the pot and takes it down.
Whalecock on 2+2 reds. Eugene should write a check for a few grand to Kenna right now and then just walk away.
You know, I have a lot of respect for Kenna's game. Obviously, he's a tremendous tournament player.
Right.
He has not had much success
No.
playing in our cash games. Let's see if he changes that around tonight.
Barry Woods is going to raise up here to 175. He's got 8-10 of clubs. Yeah, Eugene's got a suited ace, ace-4 of diamonds, but he's really on the short stack here. He's not going to play.
Let you beat me at basketball.
And Trish says loose call. She's going to call with king-queen offsuit. Mike's in there with queen-10 offsuit. Those trap hands. Now, Trish is in position here.
And Barry was the original raiser.
Yeah, 8-10 of clubs.
And under the gun, too. Wow.
5:25 to go here, three ways. Wow, and look at that flop. 8, 9, 10. Barry's got top and bottom, but it's a 3 flush on board. No one has diamonds.
No, not one diamond out there. Mike's got top pair with a gut shot straight draw. And Trish obviously has overcards at the gut shot, but no diamond in her hand. She can't get involved.
Barry bets 400 and Mike calls. $1,300 pot now. Nobody has a diamond. Turns a queen and Mike makes queens up. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but can he call here?
I think he definitely is going to call.
I mean, remember, Barry could have been betting a jack. Is it inconceivable that Barry would have a jack in his hand?
Barry bets 1,000 and Mike calls again, and we've got about a $3,500 pot here. The river's a 3. Is this one just going to go check, check? Wow, Barry's going to bet 2,000. Does he think he has the best hand? The pot is about $6,000, 2,000 for Mike to call, and Mike makes the call with queens up. That's no good. Mike's on a rampage.
Yeah, wow.
Unbelievable.
Mike has made one bad call today against George with George of the nut straight.
Yeah.
And nothing else. He has done nothing else wrong. He is on fire. Man.
But again, it brings me back to the propensity for him to call down hands. Dave, it's almost like if he has 2 pair, and as long as there's not a 4 flush on there, he is comfortable putting in all the money, regardless of what the board is.
Well, we saw the board before. The board
Right.
was 6, 7, 8, 9.
Right.
He had 7, 8.
Right.
You know, and George obviously had an absolute nuts with Jack 10. And he called up his money. But you know what? You can't argue with the results tonight, can you?
I'm surprised that Barry bet there on the end.
Have you played with Barry yet? Fucking sick, yeah.
And my only thinking is he betting a value bet,
He does some serious
or is he trying to bet Mike off of a bigger 2 pair?
I don't know, man. That is crazy. Well, Ken is going to bring this one in for a little raise. He's got pocket queens. He's going to make it 150 to go. Mike's got a suited ace deuce of hearts on the button. And Mike's got a lot of chips. He's going to make the call.
I'll tell you, the more chips Mike gets, the more dangerous he is.
Yep. And we are heads up here.
I tell you, when we place your middle name bitch, that's hypocrite.
Jack 10-9. Look at the flop for Mike. He's got the nut flush draw. And Ken has got an overpair, and he's open-ended.
Wow.
And this can be interesting as well.
Oh,
Can
this
Ken
could
take a
get-
lot of heat with this hand?
This could get real interesting.
Ken is going to bet. He bets 350.
Well, I think, of course, Kenny can take some heat in his hand. He's got open-ended straight draw as well.
Mike makes the call. Pot's about 1,000 now. Here we go to the turn. Turns the heart, and it gives Ken a set of queens.
Oh, my.
Holy cow.
And Mike bets only a little bit here, and you almost want to just call if you're Kenna and see if the board can pair. I mean, you think about
Kenna
it.
checked. Mike bet looks like 800. And let's see what Kenna's going to do.
It's also a one-liner to a straight. I mean, he can't beat even a king. He can't
Right.
beat an 8.
But do you want him, like you said, make this call? It's a little bet and try to fill up on the river.
Oh, you have to call this because the implied odds are huge. If you put your opponent on ace-king, or if you put your opponent, you actually hope Mike has the flush here.
Yeah.
And you call, and if that board pairs, you overbet the river.
Wow. I mean, we're talking about a pot. Pot's only 1,800 right now. 800 to call.
Yeah, it's an easy call with the implied odds. I mean, remember, Mike's got probably close to $10,000 or
Right.
more, and Kenna bought in for $10,000. This is an easy call, an only call.
Well. Let's see here, Dave.
Wow, look at this. Kenna's in the game for 2 minutes and already in the fire.
He's going to make the call, and he needs the board to pair.
And if the board pairs, Mike could go
Oh, my
broke.
goodness. Here we go. $2,600 pot to the river. Oh, the river's a 4th heart. Now Kenna can't beat anything.
Yeah, well, I think Kenna knew he was beat anyway. I don't think Kenna even calls. I don't even think Kenna calls 1,000 on the river. I mean, think about it. It's 9-10 Jack Queen. He can't beat a king.
Is he going to come out and bet, though, Dave? The pot is $2,600.
Well, it's interesting. If you put Mike on a king, if you put Mike on a straight, can you represent the high heart?
And he's going to come out and bet. He's going to bet 3,000.
Wow.
3,000, and Mike can only lose to 8, 10 of hearts, and Mike moves all in over the top. Mike moves all in over the top. He's moved all in. Ken has bet 3,000, and Kenna gets away from the hand, and Mike is going to take down at least 5,500 there. What a hand. Unbelievable.
And I'm sure Kenna will play it this way in his head. I think if a blank comes on there, he probably checks and folds.
Wow.
Putting Mike on a king. When the fourth heart came out there, I think he was hoping that Mike had the king and maybe he could get him off of it. I'll tell you one thing, though. Mike rakes in another big pot. Mike Wade made one big mistake on that hand, raising on the river. Is there any value in raising a player like Kenna James? I mean, this is a world-class poker player. Is there any value to raising him?
That one right.
Is there any value to raising Kenna James in the river there? Remember, you do not have the absolute nuts. Kenna could have a straight flush. I mean, I wonder here, does Kenna even call with, say, the second nut flush draw, the second flush? I don't know.
250.
Well, you know, king of hearts, right?
I don't know if Kenna even calls that.
$250 raise here by C2. Eugenie's got ace-queen. Wow, if that board paired, I mean, Kenna could have made it. I don't know if Mike would have raised the river if the board paired, if Kenna bets into him, but, I mean, what a hand.
I think Kenna's a smart player. I think he overbets the river if the board pairs.
Well, the pot was about 2,600, so, you know, he bet 3,000 the river anyways, and then he folded, but you're saying maybe he bets
5,000?
Yeah.
4,500, who knows? I mean, obviously we have to ask him.
Yeah. Wow. And Mike's on a tear right now.
And some people at home are going, what is Kenna doing? Why is he betting into the nuts, you know?
Right.
Obviously, he doesn't know his opponent has hearts.
Right. Wow.
What a turn, huh? The queen of hearts.
Right.
Gives him the set and gives Mike the nut flush.
Button moves over here to Barry Woods. It looks like Barry Woods is making a rebuy. He's getting a ton of chips out on the table now. And this game is huge. We've got Avo, Mike, Kenna, and Barry all with pretty much $10,000 at least on the table.
At least, right. Avo's got over 30,000.
Yeah.
And Mike is by far the big winner tonight, folks.
Avo's going to raise it up here. Got King 5 of hearts, $250. He's going to take it down.
And I'll tell you contrasting styles here. Now, professional poker play like Avo, or even say, you look at like Hav.
Yeah.
They are very rarely going to be the big winner.
Right.
Because they just don't play enough hands. They don't mix it up as much.
Right.
They're not interested in being the big winner. They don't really care. They're cash game players, and as long as they make their money for the night, they're happy. Mike, though, his style, obviously, which is one of the reasons we say he's such a good player for tournaments, his style lends to getting a lot of chips. And if he's hitting hands like he is tonight, he can win a friggin' fortune.
Button's going to move over there to Hav in seat 7. They're not playing for fun anymore, Dave. We got some serious money on the table.
Oh, man. And I tell you, I absolutely love Kenna, but every time he comes on the show, he's like snake bitch.
Yeah.
Man, I actually really like Mike, too, but in that case, I was actually rooting for the board to pair on the river.
Really? Yeah.
I was. I mean...
Yeah, I wanted to see the fireworks.
Yeah, man.
Jack 8-3 here. George has got top pair. It was limped around. And George is going to bet. He's going to bet 300. Barry's not going to get involved here. I mean, Kent has just got style, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does have style.
I think he's from Michigan, though.
What do you mean, though?
I mean, he dresses kind of like a cowboy, but he's from
Oh,
Michigan.
okay, I see what you mean. I thought you were saying something about Michigan, like, he's got style,
Oh,
but he's from Michigan.
I don't know a lot of guys from, like, Detroit that dress like that.
Yeah, I just want to get back to that last point there. Now, obviously, when I was seeing Mike raise there with the ace high flush draw, ace high flush, sorry.
Right.
Often people say, what do you mean, why wouldn't he raise? He's got almost the nuts. Now, obviously, if it gets checked to him, he's going to bet for value.
Right.
But I think when your opponent bets into you like that,
200.
raising, you can only get called by a hand that beats you.
No,
really
I
think
agree
that.
with you. I agree with you.
Then you're in there. You're And they're like,
And again, I wondered if the board would have paired, how much Mike would have lost. We got a little raise here by, it looks like Avo in seat 5. He's got pocket 10s to 200, and this one might go 5 ways.
Wow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ways. So it's $1,000 pot pre-flop, Avo with 10s. And he's got the overpair. No one has a 7. Now, Ken has got a gut shot to the 8 here. Trish has got pocket 8. It's not a bad flop. And she's going to come out and bet. Ooh. She's going to bet 600.
And that puts Avo in a tough spot. I mean, not only is Trish betting, but he's got players behind him.
And look at Mike. He's got ace 9. And he's going to raise. And now if you're Avo, what can you do here with 10s?
You know what? I got 3 players behind me yet to act.
Yeah.
I might just throw this away.
Just get rid of it. Pick spots better, right?
Well, man, I don't know. I mean, Trish is betting. Mike is raising right
Yeah.
away. I mean, it's tough to put Mike on a 7 here because he's raising right away. It's more likely to put him on a 9.
Yeah.
But what is Trish betting with?
Pot's $1,100. It's $800 for Avo to call. A bet by Trish, a raise by Mike with ace 9. And, yeah, you wonder if Avo's going to get involved here.
I mean, the raise was there pre-flop, but now you've got 5 callers.
Yeah.
Man. Oh, I'm sorry, 4 callers. I mean, there's still Allen and there's still Kenna behind you.
And he is not going to get involved.
Yeah, I don't mind that laydown at all.
Yeah. Now, Mike has his mom beat here. Now, is Trish going to get involved?
I think it's a pretty easy laydown for Trish here. She can't beat anything.
I think she said she's going to call, and then they're going to check it down all the way. And look at Avo. He's pissed. Avo is pissed. Turns a jack. River's a jack. And a 9 is going to take it
Obviously,
down.
ace 9 wins it there.
Yeah. You know, it's funny there again. You know, I assume Avo knows that Trish is Mike's mother. But if you were playing at a table where that happened, and then you had the other 2 people check it down, it's a little bit, you know, it becomes a little bit of a problem on the table, don't you think?
It does. I mean, in that case there, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, obviously both players were betting legitimate hands.
Right.
You know, it wasn't like Mike was trying to protect his mom's hands.
Right.
You know, I don't think he changed his play because of anything.
Right. Button moves over there to Allen.
But obviously, you know, if Avo had called there, there's no way they're checking it down. And Mike continues.
On a rampage.
Oh, man, it's like the night of the Mike.
I mean, he's built up his second rebuy at 3,000 all the way up to maybe 20,000 now.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
he's
incredible.
only in the game for 6,000, right? So,
5-way action limped around here. Queen, Jack, 7. Doesn't really hit anybody.
no, Ken has got a gut shot straight draw. Well, now he's
Turns to
open-ended.
6.
See if Ken bets his open-ended straight draw in late position.
Looks like he's grabbing for chips here, and he's going to bet. He's going to bet 300.
And that'll probably get it done. I can't imagine anybody calling this. Take it down, Ken.
There you go. Kenneth's going to take it down. And again, we still have Jonas on the other table, I think. Who's
Got
first
Jonas,
up?
Jay. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
2 full games here with a board.
Yep. 25-50 no limit hold'em.
I tell you, if you are a big no-limit cash player, Wednesdays, you got to come to the bike.
Yeah.
This is the place to be.
Nice patterns.
Well, actually, you know, the big Baron Vanguard Toth puts up an interesting point. When you immediately said it's a mistake to raise the river there. But we've seen Mike make bluff raises on the river. Now, he did move all in. Could Mike possibly use his image there?
Bullshit. There's no way Mike is raising $15,000 on a river.
Yeah.
Come on. I just don't buy it. Against certain players, hey, if I'm betting against Allen, yeah, I raise. If I'm betting against Eugene, yeah, I'll raise because maybe Eugene will put Mike on a. Kenneth James is not going to call off his money with like, you know, a 10 high flush. I'm sorry. I just don't buy it.
Button's over there in seat 8.
I mean, you got to play against the player you're playing against. You know?
Well, Mike is up to $18,000. Avo's still got about 32. He hasn't moved that much. And George is up quite a bit here from the night when he won. Wow.
Wow. Mike is now up 12 grand tonight. Ooh.
Yeah.
George is also up big, actually, like I said. Allen, man, where did Allen's chips go?
Look at this.
Oh, he lost a lot of those chips to those pocket sevens, right?
Yeah, look at this post here by bcook823. This is the best Live the Bike show ever. There you
Well,
go.
it started off slow,
Yeah.
but we're off and running now.
Alan's going to raise it up to 200 here with pocket 10s.
Just like that. Like this.
And we're going to see three-way action here. $600 pot, Alan with pocket 10s, pre-flop raiser.
And then he comes out fine.
Ace 4 queen. Can Alan bet into this board? If he does, he would take it down.
Check.
Yeah.
It's got to make a play.
You had it on the
Turn the
turned it, right? Turned it, yeah. Yeah, that disgusting look on your face.
And
I had one like
Eugene's going to bet.
This one.
He's going to bet 375 here, and he's going to take it down. Picks his spots there, bets on the button.
Of course, gonna pick up on it.
Again, I want to know if Mike would have gone broke there if the board had paired. Can Mike get away from the nut flush? if the
Well,
board
it all
paired?
depends on how much Kenna bets. But you know, if Kenna puts in a value bet of $4,000 or $5,000, I think Mike calls
Yeah.
with the ace high flush.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my chance.
I mean, obviously, I don't know, but I'm saying let's say Kenna there had ace king, right? With the king of hearts.
Right.
Obviously, Kenna the ace of hearts because Mike's got it. And Mike raises. Do you really think Kenna's going to call off all his money with the king of hearts? I mean, I know he's going to take a while before he lays it down, but
Right.
is he going to call off all his money with the king of hearts?
No, he had
Alan's got queen jack here in seat 9.
He's going to call it. He's going to call it.
king made a straight.
Got a
We're not
limp.
talking about some schmo here. We're talking about Kenna James. Guy knows how to play poker.
Limp. Limped around. Mike does not even complete in the small blind. Raises some eyebrows for an extra chip. And we're going to see 5-way action here.
You figure if Mike's not completing, he must have complete garbage.
Ace 6-4 here. Trisha's got ace 9.
She's also got the button, so this is pretty straightforward.
200.
She's going to bet 200. And she's going to take it down.
I really like Avo's game tonight, actually. He's not mixing it up too much tonight. He's kind of picking his spots. But you'll see him when he plays in a short-handed game that he thinks he can run over. He'll mix up his game. He really does adapt to the game he's playing in.
Scared of most on the table. Probably will. Okay.
I mean, I'll throw this at you. Let's say Corporation Mike raises it up to, say, 6,000 or 7,000 there.
Right.
Right? Instead of going all in. And then he gets re-raised all in.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gambling.
Well, then what do you do with the ace high flush? Do you muck it then?
I feel like I'm gambling.
Well, because the only thing he can lose to is the 8-10 of hearts, you mean?
Like ace jack.
Well, what would Kenna re-raise me all in with?
Well, again, though, you look at it and you say, well, the game just isn't deep enough.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, kind of, he raised under the gun with the 8-10 of hearts and just happened to be he made a straight flush when I made the nut flush. Maybe. You know what I'm saying?
No, right. That's what I'm saying. There's no way
It's
Mike
just-
can get it. There's
yeah.
no way Mike can get
That's
away
what
from
I'm
that
saying.
hand.
That's what I'm
right.
Got a raise here by Eugene. He made it 10-7 of clubs. And look at Avo. He's going to come back over the top of Eugene. He's picking his spots here. Eugene's played a little bit scared all night, and Avo's come back over the top using his chip stack out of the small blind with 6-4 of hearts.
Well, he's adapting his, like I said, he's adapting his play to the players at the table.
Right.
And this is a player that he obviously has targeted. He wants to play against. And he doesn't mind. He doesn't mind getting called, I don't think. And Eugene can't call this, obviously, with 10-7.
Nope. And Avo is going to take it down. Got a little over an hour left in the show. We got Kenna James on the table. Had quite a hand against Corporation Mike. You know, Barry Woods has been somewhat quiet tonight, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
Yeah.
That's good.
Nice petals.
Mike Straddle with up and
Well, how about the other, say, value, as we had an email here from Matt Masika. Something that you say, what about raising all in there to not show your hand down?
I guess
The
so.
ace
I
deuce
mean,
of hearts.
I guess there is some value to that. There is, I obviously preach that.
Yeah. Live straddle here by Kenna.
I mean, that's what I love about poker. Obviously, you can argue about it all day. Maybe raising is the right fight. I just don't. I just know that you're not going to get called unless you beat. I don't think you are.
Mike's made it 350 to go here. He's got ace-9 of diamonds, and Kenna wants to play heads up with him. He's got a king-8 suited. He's going to call out of position. Here we go. These two are going to battle it out all night, I'm sure.
Yeah, their button heads are ready.
$700 pot to the flop. Well, Mike's hit top pair here. Kenna checks, and Mike's going to bet 600.
600.
Kenna doesn't have much here. Backdoor draws and an overcard. He is out of position. And he's going to make the call, Dave.
Yeah, he's obviously making a call to set up some sort of a play.
Here we go to the turn. Turns a 3. Well, that didn't really help him that much. He's going to check. And Mike checks right behind him.
Check it down.
Wow.
Nice guy.
And the river is a king, and Kenna makes a pair. Mike checked the turn, and Kenna hit top pair on the river.
You know what happened to being nice, man? Jeez.
And he's going to come out and bet.
Good catch.
And Mike's going to pay him off. Holy smokes. Wow. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what Mike was doing there. Mike said, okay, we'll check it down. We're playing for real money here,
Right.
folks.
And I wonder if Mike's going to lecture Kenna on what he called the flop with.
All me, spread it out.
All right. Well, I was only trying to give you, what is it, 9?
I'm not sure. I don't understand why Mike checked the turn, though.
Yeah.
What, was the 3 a scary card? I mean, if you put Kenna on like a 9, you know your kicker's got him out kicked.
Email
the board was what, 9, 6, 4, 3?
Right.
I mean, I guess if you put him specifically on 7, 5.
You know what, though? I mean, sometimes we say, and I'm not necessarily giving Mike credit for this, but sometimes we say you can control pot size when you're playing very deep stack poker.
Yeah, Ace 9 is really vulnerable. I mean, any overcard comes, you're scared except for the ace up. So, a 10 comes out, a jack comes out, a queen comes out, a king.
I understand, but I understand also the play of trying to keep that pot a little bit small with ace 9. I mean, I probably would have bet the turn as well, but it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, I mean, if you're checking to induce a bluff on the river, okay, so be it. But why do I want to keep that pot small? I want to win the pot right there. I got the best hands.
Pocket kings here for George Georgian, and he's limbed in seat 1. And I don't think he's going to get a raise.
What, do you have a straight?
Go ahead, check. Now that I revealed the strength of my hand. How are you?
I think Kenna might have mucked out a turn, not realizing it is the big blind. While in George's flop top set, he did not raise. And he's going to check it, Dave.
Over there, they warmer? Yours are
No, nobody's really got anything here. He's going to check to see if somebody can catch something. And if a 7 or a 10 come off, you wonder if Trish will get in trouble. Here it is.
10. Oh, and Trish has made 2 pair now.
Yeah, Trish backs in the 2 pair there.
Would George go broke if someone had queen 9 here in this hand by checking the flop?
I
Difficult
think he
to put
might.
somebody on ace queen, obviously. And he's going to come out and bet.
250.
He's going to bet 250 here. And how on earth do you put George on top set of kings here? See what Trish is going to do.
Remember, she might be scared also of queen 9.
What the hell am I doing in this? Oh, I was in the blind. I tried to...
Remember,
She's going to raise, though, Dave. She
Yeah.
raises.
She also can't beat 8-9, by the way.
Here's the question for you now. The pot was limped around. Trish is showing strength now on the turn. What on earth now is George going to do coming back around? Is he just going to cry and call, check, call the river?
It might just be, I don't know if it's crying call, but yeah, I agree with you. It might just be a call.
You put in the 6.
And Kenna looks like he's got a pair. He's got 6-9 here. He's got a gut shot to the 8.
I mean, you might call this and then kind of throw out a kind of blocker stop bet on the river, something that you want to pet, so you're not faced with a huge bet. And if she re-raises you all in, you've got to muck your set.
Now, what is George going to do here? He's just going to call. So let's see if he throws a little
It's
block
real
bet
easy
out
for
here.
her to have queen 9
Yeah.
or 8-9 here.
Right, here we go to the river. And the river is
man.
a 9. Oh, and it's a third club. And luckily for George, it goes check, check.
Yeah.
Can he take any heat on the river there?
No, you can't. I mean, I'm surprised, actually, the pot was, what, about 1,500?
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, it might have been a good time for him to throw a little $500 bet on the river.
yeah,
And if she doesn't have the absolute nuts,
yeah,
she might just call him.
yeah,
Like, let's say she has 8-9 there. She might just call it 8-9
right.
and not bet 1,000.
130, please.
What a night. Live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. You're watching No Limit Hold'em.
Yep.
25-50 blinds. Got a real treat for tonight. We've got Kenna James in the house. He's in seat 8.
Again, you can email us at liveatthebike.com. People that are watching the show for the first time, check out the LAPokerscene.com, playing a $500,000 free roll.
Use the $500,000 free roll.
Use the
Wow.
deposit bonus code 5X500K gets you 5 free entries in the first stage tournaments that are held 4 times a day. If you win one of those, you get an entry into the final tournament in September or in October to try to win your portion of $500,000.
Yeah, first place is $200,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Little raise here by Trish with Ace King, and she is going to take it down. You can also try to knock me out next Sunday, a week from Sunday, in a bounty tournament. More details coming up later on that.
Let me think on that.
Button is in seat 8. That's Kenna.
Yep.
Small blind is Alan. Big blind is George. And first to act is Eugene. And Eugene's got deuce 4 of clubs under the gun. Might be a hand that I'd mix it up with in the late position, but not usually in first position.
Limp here. Queen Jack offsuit for Kenna on the button. Is he going to raise?
And it's funny, Mike's sitting there going, it's unbelievable. Mike's been on absolute fire tonight.
Kenna's going to make that raise here on the button with Queen Jack after several limpers. I like the play.
Well, he's got position.
And I don't think that Mike's going to go anywhere. He's got the, actually, that's Trish. And Trish does go somewhere. I thought Mike had the Queen Jack of diamonds. And Kenna's just going to take it down right there.
Yeah, he takes
All
it
I can
down.
beat is King 8. I got one of these, no kicker, man.
Throws the best hand away every time.
And Ken is right. It was the best hand.
Yep. Button moves over there to Allen in seat 9.
A bunch of people on the 2+2 thread wondering where Jesus is.
Where is he?
I actually saw Jesus last night. He's been playing a lot of the no-limit
Dad, I'll use
Mexican
different
poker.
stacks, Ken. I'm going to leave your stack here.
And anyone who's not familiar with Mexican poker, it's a kind of a variation of 5-card stud, where all of the 6s, 7s, 8s, and 9s are taken out of the deck.
That's strong.
Yeah, and there's a Joker card as well.
There's a Joker card, and you get dealt, a down card and an up card, and then you choose whether the next card is down or up,
Right.
and so on and so on. So you kind of reveal the strength of your hand somewhat.
Borderline.
Well, I mean, it's 5-card stud. There's only
Yeah.
one card hidden.
Right.
Queens for Avo.
He's going to make it 200. Pocket 7s for Kenna James in seat 8. And he's deep enough to make this call.
Notice how everybody has their own starting raise. Avo's starting raise is 200. Other players is 300, 275.
Now, Eugene's got a suited connector in the blind. He doesn't have that much. He's going to make the call.
Yeah, well, once
Kenna calls.
Once Kenna calls, you got an extra person in there. Maybe you can take it off.
Wow, and Kenna's hit a set of 7s, but Avo doesn't have an ace.
Yeah, the ace out there should save Avo.
And let's see how Kenna's going to play the set. It's a $350 bet. Kenna has position. It's a rainbow board.
Yeah, normally that's a great flop for 7s because you're hoping your opponent has ace-king.
Well, I mean, sometimes if you're Kenna, well, it looks like he's just going to smooth call. I wonder if you can use your aggression and make it look like you're raising with nothing here.
Yeah.
But he just calls. Well,
That-
Avo
that
could spike a
alone should
queen
really-
here. Well, it turns a 5. Kenna fills up now.
Yeah, that alone should really scare Avo.
Avo checks. Pot's about $1,100. And Kenna's going to bet. He bets $1,500. He's over betting the pot right
Yeah,
now.
and Kenna can only, obviously I don't think Avo can call this. Kenna can only be behind to pocket aces or quad 5s.
And the other thing, you think about here, Kenna's over bet this pot. Maybe he's trying to make it look like a steal. I mean, could Avo ever check call here?
Well, I mean, if there's anybody at this table who's going to make a move, it is Kenna.
I mean, it is a pretty much an overbet here on the turn, and I was thinking about it.
I mean, Kenna's certainly not scared of the stakes. Anybody not familiar with Kenna James, he came in second place at our Legends of Poker tournament here
Right.
at the Bicycle Casino last August and took in about $600,000.
Avo's still fiddling around with his chips over there in seat 5. A $1,500 bet into about an $1,100 pot. He's not going to get involved with it, Dave. And Kenna's going to take it down. There you go. Nice hand there by Kenna. Button's going to move over here to seat 1. George Georgian.
Slide, please.
Look at the lineup.
It's pretty solid. J, Ed.
Slide status.
Crazy, man.
Live straddle here by Mike.
Be friendly, count.
300.
And we got a $300 raise by seat number 8. Kenna James, ace-4 offsuit.
But, you know, I was going to.
And Mike's got jack 10 of clubs, and he's going to make the call.
2 plays.
So we're heads up here. These two banging heads again. Kenna's got the ace,
Ace there, I'm obligated to bet.
and Kenna's going to bet.
900.
That's
Well, he
500.
said he was obligated to bet. And then this is a pretty ugly
Take
flop
it
for
off
Mike,
my,
isn't it?
Take it off my stack.
No, I'm
Take it off.
keeping your stack here. It's these right here.
I thought my stack was just the one on the right.
No, this one. This is.
And, yeah, I don't think Mike's going to get involved. Now, I want to make an announcement here, Dave. Again, I know that there were a lot of people that had streaming issues at the beginning part of the show. And I think that had to do with the fact that there were so many people logging on at the same time. We had a ton of spike hits for people wanting to watch tonight's show. Well, people who are new to the show, you can watch this show on a 24-hour rerun loop. It starts at 11 p.m. Pacific time, runs for 3 hours, and so on, all the way up to 5 p.m. tomorrow.
Right.
And at that point, I do not believe you're going to have streaming issues when you watch the rerun.
Yeah, it's a good point to make.
So
So obviously, if you're watching and you're in Ireland, if you
Right.
want to watch it live and make it interactive, you've got to watch it while we're here, obviously. But watch it when it's convenient for you.
yeah. Eugene limped in here on the button. Looks like 75 offsuit. And this one's going to get limped around into the blinds. Here we
You
go.
gotta have problems with that, don't you? Like layering stuff like that?
Doesn't that gay earring thing when you reflect off the light?
Queen 9-4.
That's what I'm talking about.
Ken is making fun of Mike's bald
Boy,
head
he
right now.
really did upset you, didn't he?
125.
Eugene's going to put a little bet out here in position.
To lose more game, my ring or his earring. It's a pretty gay ring.
Do you think Barry is jealous?
And
Because of Kenna and Mike thing?
Kenna's going to call here. Well, Kenna might not be privy to the fact of how Eugene's played so tight. Turns at 10. See if Eugene can bet at it again. And he does. Bets 300. And this should really do it, shouldn't it?
300, huh? Just like that?
Just like that.
Just like that, 300.
Kenna has the best hand.
Maybe I misread my hand. Let me look. No.
I mean, this would be one hell. I was going to say, if he has the instincts to know his hand is good here, it would be one hell of a call.
Right.
With 3-4 there. He's not going to get involved. Give credit for Eugene to continue firing there. Picked up a gut shot there to the jack. Had 2 overcards as well.
Yes, to his
And
four.
8 or 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there it is. And again,
Orange
Eugene,
is up the pot.
boy, Eugene would be up a lot of money if he made that call against Mike with the ace
Well,
jack earlier
that
today.
bluff that Mike pulled off against Eugene
Right.
really got Mike off and running.
Right.
He won about, I want to say probably won a grand, probably a $10,000
Yep.
in the span of 10 minutes.
Yeah.
What do I owe you?
Raise.
We get a raise here by seat number 7. That's Hav. He's got ace king of spades, Dave. Going to make it 350 to go.
Big hand for me tonight.
You know, and the thing is that we used to say, well, at this level, can you play it straight up ABC and be a winner?
big one
I think you really can
300.
with these players on the table. Look at it. Barry's not even going to call with that suited connector.
Well, I'm going to throw this at you here. Straight up and only betting your made hands, no, you can't. But we see Hav semi-bluff also.
Maybe I should, edit
Yeah.
that and say straight up pre-flop, premium hand,
Right.
pre-flop hand standards from early to mid position.
Yeah, I think you can. I think you can beat almost any game that way.
Yeah.
But you've got to be willing to put some money in there. Look at the chip count here.
Mike's down a couple of grand when he lost that hand to Kenna. Avo, he's up since the last chip count, although
Yeah, he's up about 1,500 for the show.
then we can see Trish is down a little bit, and George has had a pretty good night. George actually is in for a couple rebuys. I think he bought him for the minimum. So he's up probably 2,700 for the night.
There you go. What I was going to say was, if you're only betting when you hit top pair or a big, you know what I mean? Then there's no way you can beat this game.
Right.
Because you're just not going to hit enough hands. and if you play it faster. But if you play it very few hands and you play them aggressively, of course you can be successful.
Hopefully, I will rate you like a
And Mike is going to mini raise it up here to 200, 9-6 offsuit. Nava's going to call him with 9-10 of diamonds. $400 pot. Mike should probably bet and take this one down. But it goes check, check.
Same reason I get
Turns of 4, and Mike's made the straight.
entertainment value.
This is one of the times I like betting, and I hope my opponent has an ace.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, I might call Mike with an ace there.
Yeah,
Small blind.
definitely.
You're lucky, Mike.
Try and call, and then try and call on the river, and hoping he'd save it is good.
Very good.
Now, to contrast Mike's style, I don't think Hob would be a very successful tournament player. I think his game is much more suited to a cash game. I just don't
Where
think
you don't
he is-
necessarily have the inherent need to accumulate a lot of chips.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think he gambles enough to accumulate chips in a tournament. Now, obviously, he might change his style if he plays in a tournament.
Kenneth's going to straddle here, so it's going to be $100 to call here. He's going to have the option coming around back to seat 8.
Dennis Strato.
Corporation Mike's got a Jack 9 offsuit here, seat 4. He's going to make the call.
Let me see if I can raise.
What are you laughing at, man? Huh? What are you laughing at?
Hob is going to
You
complete,
decided to make something before you raised my ass this time, didn't you? Huh?
and Kenneth's got a little king rag offsuit here. We're going to see this one three-way action.
Come on.
$300
I'm not
pot.
shaking the nuts to you anymore, all right? My resolution.
King 7-4. Kenneth's hit top
Let
2
you hit
pair.
this 3-outer.
Let's see if he's going to slow play a little bit, and he does. He's going to check. Mike checks right behind him.
3 planes.
Turns at 3. And now it looks like Kenneth's going to put some money here in the pot.
Throw a couple hundred out there.
And he's going to bet, looks like 300.
Wow. that's
400.
way more than the pot.
Again, he's going to overbet the pot here,
That's a 400.
making it look like a steal.
Encouraged me.
475 into a $300 pot. But unfortunately for him, Mike has no part of this. You know, if Jack had come off in the turn, he might have gotten some action there. And he takes it down.
I like
As the
that
big blind
strategy.
moves over to Kenna.
Huh?
Button moves over to Barry Woods, who again has been remarkably quiet tonight.
I mean, how many jokes a day do you get on that thing, really?
On the what? On the dome?
Yeah, on the head.
Looks like somebody's rubbing Mike's head for luck.
3.5 a day?
You know, I tried the cowboy hat. I just can't pull it off.
Who is that that's rubbing his head?
Really?
Yeah.
It slipped?
Okay.
It's loose.
Button moves over here to seat 6.
It's all over. It's falling on my stack. Everybody asks how many chips you got in front of you.
I think that was Ed.
It's tough.
It's low. You know, it's
Ed rubbing Mike's head for good luck.
125.
I'm told I look kind of sexy for a ball jack.
You
believe
do.
that?
You're a good looking guy.
$125
You are a
raise
good
here by
looking guy.
Eugene
But
on
all
a
we're
seat 8.
saying
He's got
is,
pocket
you know,
8s.
You know it's a rough
Mike's gonna
life
call
when
with
your
pocket
parents
7s.
have more hair than you.
Kenneth tells Mike, you know, you got a rough life when your parents have more hair than you do. Kenneth's going to call with ace-4 suited. Allen's in there with ace-deuce.
How are you?
Here we go. We got about a $500 pot. Eugene pre-flop razor. Kenneth's hit the ace, and so does Allen. See how Kenneth's going to play ace-rag here.
This spot.
He's going to bet.
275.
He's going to come out and he's going to put a little tester bet. He bets 275.
275.
And we know that Allen's going to at least call. Whoa, wait a minute. Allen gets away from it. Wow.
We're just testing to see if you can lay a hand down.
Yeah.
Just a test. Poker has many tests.
Again, Kenna has bet in here about half the size of the pot to 275. Eugene's got pocket 8s, and he's just kind of gotten banged around tonight a little bit. And he's not going to get involved with it. Let's see if, I'm sure Mike is probably not going to involve with it.
Is that a quick? Do I have to answer that?
And Kenna's going to take it down there. Throwing in a little bet.
You gonna lay down a pair against me?
The tough thing about being involved, Ken, is I can't go on a
One thing I got to
diet
hand
and
to
get
Kenna
more
here,
hair, you know, I'm screwed.
whether he wins a pot or loses a pot,
I tell you, I
he
am.
certainly keeps his spirit up, you know?
I'd rather.
I mean, you couldn't tell if he was winning or losing right now, could you?
Bald than fat with hair. I
Really?
think.
That's a
Yeah.
tough one. Skinny and bald and fat with hair? I don't know about that.
Like me, I'm.
Small blind.
Button's going to move over here to seat number 6. We've got about 45 minutes left in the show.
You can always get skinny, but you can't get hair.
Seat 7 there. Actually,
It's all
Hob
different
has the
packages.
button.
We all have different packages. You know, we come in all different shapes and sizes and colors and stuff like that. You just gotta, you know, the hand that you're
Alan
dealt,
laid down an
that's
ace
what you
last
gotta
hand, a
play.
top pair. Unbelievable.
You know, some of us aren't blessed like your mother with the beauty, the grace.
This is true.
We gotta stumble through life. Whatever they give us.
Trish has limped in here with mid-position with pocket 9s.
175.
175, I'm with you.
I got my $1,000.
And Barry is going to raise it up to 175 with ace-4 of clubs. Alan calls with 6-7. Trish has limped with 9s. Can Trish pull the limp re-raise with this hand?
Quotation mark.
She could. She just calls.
Now this is another way to play it.
Jack
Always, you know what?
8-3. Kenna's got a
Always
gut
because
shot here to the 9.
82, never bet into a guy that turns around and takes a bite of the food.
Kenna checks. Alan checks.
Huh? When they turn around and take a bite of the food, just
Now,
forget
can
it.
Trish throw a bet out here? No, she's going to check.
Now
Now, let's see if Barry makes the continuation bet.
If you turn around and take a sip of
Pot's about 700 right now.
Right, now this is the question now. If everybody folds behind,
Right.
the Trish check raise.
Well, Barry's bet 450 into a $700 pot. And Kenna's going to take one off for the gut shot.
Well, this is, now, obviously Trish can't call this now.
No. But the only problem with Kenna here is that he needs the 9. There's only 2 9s left. Both players have clubs. Turns to 3. Now look at this. It goes check, check.
Wow.
And the river's a 9. Unbelievable river
Now,
card.
if Trish had stuck around, this would
Yeah.
have been crazy. Kenna would have made this straight, but Trish would have backed into a full house 9s full.
Problem for Barry here is that, problem for Kenna is Barry has nothing. And
Yeah,
Kenna is going to bet, looks like, 1,200.
And we've seen Barry make big calls with, say, ace-king,
Yeah.
but I just don't see it happening with ace-4 here.
What could you put Kenna on? He bets 1,200 here on the river. Barry has induced this bluff. Kenna's bet the pot again with his made hand.
Is 9 good? No. It's gotta be good. It's gotta be good. You wouldn't give me the turn for free.
Wow.
You give me the turn for free.
Show me the 9.
Barry says, show me the 9. Kenna doesn't know. So
Yeah, Barry's going to throw this away. You know,
Thank you.
if Barry had
Thank you.
bet the
Thank you.
turn, the hand would have been over with. But
Right.
you can't bet it and then end up taking off
Right.
$1,500. Not with ace-4.
What a river card. Unbelievable.
So tonight's whale game is brought to you by the LA Poker Scene. Go to www.lapokerscene.com. Start playing in your favorite Hold'em games. They've got some really cool stuff. Obviously, we've talked about the $500,000 free roll.
Actually, his
They
is
also
pretty nice,
have,
too, because he's been keeping them warm.
you can get your World Series of Poker seat for a nickel.
Right.
That's crazy. A nickel. Turning into $7.5 million.
It's a good anyway, so it
Pretty
don't
cool. If you want to check it out, you can go to liveatthebike.com, and on the right-hand side
Yep.
is the LA Poker Scene banner. Nice work by
There you
Isaac
go.
there.
Kenna's got a king-queen offsuit here on the button. You'd imagine he's going to thin the field up. Kind of, plays right into his kind of tournament style. Limp, couple limpers.
Well, he's in position here. He's got a premium hand in position. Why not?
Gonna make it 350 to go.
He might just take this down right here, but you never know with Mike and Barry.
Well, Mike's got a suited ace, and so does Barry. They both have the same hand.
George is badly dominated with King 10 there.
I think Mike makes this call, and you know what? I think Barry makes the call if Mike makes the call.
I think you're right.
Like that?
We didn't come off for
The chances are this is going to miss everyone.
This flop is $1,000 here.
Yep. 644. 664. See if Kenna can throw a bet in here.
Yeah, he has the King of Diamonds. It's not a bad flop to bet into. You figure your opponents don't have any of that.
He's going to put the pressure on here.
Yeah, I don't think these players can. Nice bet.
He bets the pot. There you go. He's going to take it down.
You know, he didn't kind
Vintage Kenna James, that hand right
yeah,
there.
exactly. He raised in position, gets
Right.
a couple of good calls. They all miss, and he takes it down. And you notice how he didn't pussyfoot on the flop. He didn't bet like 400 into a $1,000 pot.
Right.
He bet 1,100 right away. Takes it down.
Button moves over here to Allen in seat 9. Yeah, we started off a little slow, but it's turned into something big here.
Yeah.
And again, if you've had some streaming issues, check out the
There's only
replay
one
of the show.
bad part about playing this many hands. Your food gets cold. Huh?
I've been there.
Now,
you've
said
been
this
there?
show will end at 10
Last
o'clock.
time you were there,
But the
the
first
Carter
replay will be
administration.
right at 11 p.m.
Last time
Right.
you were
So
there.
if you missed the first 30 minutes, check it out.
250.
Last time you played a hand, you probably just turned 21.
Avo has raised here to 250. King, queen suited.
And Avo really hasn't played very many hands.
And is Kenna going to make the call here with ace 3 spades? Yeah, he's played a ton of hands.
What are you talking about? This is like the second hand Ken has played.
I played you guys.
And Mike had limped in with Jack 10. And we're going to see three-way action. $750 pot. Here we go.
I'm a lucky loser.
9-4-3. Well, Ken outflopped everyone.
Yeah. Started with the best hand, and he still got the best hand.
See if Avo's going to put a little continuation bet in here.
500.
He bets 500 into a $750 pot.
Well, he's certainly putting the pressure on Kenny here. It's not out of the realm of possibility that Avo would have a pocket pair, is it?
$500 into a $900 pot.
Strange bunch of circumstances here.
And, Ken has been paying attention and knows that Avo's played it pretty tight.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you gotta lay down the best hand. Sometimes you gotta lay down the best hand.
There you go. Ken was right.
That must have been ace queen right there. That was ace queen. Ace queen.
Almost.
Real close there.
Yep, yep.
Mike thought he had a pocket pair.
Thank you.
Kenna was much closer.
And, if Avo had checked there, Kenna certainly would have bet. So,
Yeah.
Avo, he...
He earned himself that pot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Live straddle.
Live straddle here by seat 4.
Hey, I heard the world champ was supposed to be by today, huh?
Yeah, me too, man.
You're supposed to be
Never
by?
showed up.
No call, no show?
No call, no show. We let him
Well,
up.
when you're world champ, you can do that no call, no show stuff. You don't have to worry about the pink stuff.
Get away with a lot more. Huh?
Wow, pocket aces here for George Georgian on the button.
No show. Meanwhile, there's
And Eugene's got
people at
pocket
home, no call,
nines.
no show.
Eugene's been getting pushed around all night. This might be a hand where he tries to stand his ground. And
Well,
he'll be in trouble.
George is on the button. You can't necessarily give him credit for a huge hand. He could be
Exactly.
making a button raise here. It's going to make it 400 to go. And again, Eugene, it's almost a situation, unless he brought some more money, where it's almost a push or fold here for him, right?
Yeah,
His
and-
chip stack.
And Eugene has been, in the sense of Eugene's been like that. He's been like that little kid in the schoolyard who's getting picked on all day
Right.
by everybody. And one of these hands he's going to stand his ground. And hopefully for his sake, it's not this one.
Wow, that's one hell of an open lay down right there after the raise.
Well, it is George. I know
Yeah.
George. I know it's on the button, but it's George racing
Yeah.
the button. It's not Mike. It's not Avo.
Now, Avo here, he's got a suited connector, and he comes in, and I'm sure Barry's going to come in now, too. This is the type of hand that you want to break someone with. But a $1,000 pot here. Well,
Ooh,
Queen
wow.
10 Jack. I don't like that board if I'm George.
Oh, you got to hate that board. Are you kidding me?
And Avo's got a flush draw. He also could catch a 9 for a straight.
I remember George does not have the ace of clubs in his hand. That's an awful flop for
Yeah.
him. I know he's got the gut shot to the straight, but anybody with a king or a 9 is open-ended.
You also have to think about the types of hands that George might raise with ace king. He could also flop to set here as well.
Yes.
Yep. And it gets checked to George, and he's going to bet.
What time does the game go to? 11?
And let's see him put a big bet in here, and he does. He's bet $1,000
He bets 1,000.
into a $1,200 pot. And Avo's actually got a gut shot straight draw. If a 9
Right.
comes, it is good.
Although he wouldn't necessarily know that, because
Right.
a king would have a straight. Maybe Avo was trying to think, if George kind of bets weak, I can check raise him here. But George has put out a pretty big bet now.
Yeah, it's tough. The one thing is, if you
But Avo looks like he is going to raise. He's going to make it 3,000. And if you're George here, with aces without the ace of clubs, can you take heat?
oh man, this is tough.
And Avo has, again, picked his spots and made the play on George.
How hard is it for Avo to have a set here? Avo to have 2 pair here?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's tough to get away from aces, but if there's ever a time to get away from them, this is it.
Well, I was thinking maybe if it was Avo, maybe he wasn't going to get involved because George showed so much flop strength. I would be somewhat scared. There's a good chance that George would have a set, and there's no way George is going anywhere with a set.
But he's got a set.
Yeah.
You almost want George to have ace king here because then he doesn't have any redraws. But if he's got a
Well, you
set,
want George to have kings or aces here without the ace of clubs, which is exactly what he has. That's what he'd want.
Right. But I'm saying if he's got a made hand and he's got
Yeah.
ace king, that's not that bad either, because obviously Albo's still got outs to the
Right.
club. In this case, Albo's actually got the best of both worlds because George does not even have a king.
Yeah.
You know, Albo's actually not that bad off here. He's got 9 clubs for the win, plus 3 additional 9s.
Yep.
He's got 12 outs.
It's a $5,200 pot, $3,000 for George to call, and George has position.
Wow. Really, really puts George to the test here.
Australia? Oh,
And the problem with this is George is deep, and so is Avo, obviously. And if George calls this, what is he just going to keep calling?
And is it 3,000 total or 2,000 more? I think it's 3,000 total. So it's 2,000 more, actually.
Right.
So, I mean, the pot, again, it's about 5,200, 2,000 a call.
Yeah, but it's more than an odds question here because you're going to have to face a bet on the turn. There's very little chance that your hand will improve here. I mean, you've got to catch an ace, and an ace is not what you want. And a king, okay, well, it's not a club. So basically, you're looking at 3 cards that maybe improve your hand.
What would you do in this spot? I mean,
Oh, man. I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously, it's always harder it's hard when you're, in the booth.
yeah.
We're privy to the hands. I might lay this down.
I mean, again, Avo has definitely, noticed the type of player to make this move on.
Yeah.
You're not going to necessarily make this move against a Mike, right?
I mean, well, you got a question here. Would Avo call my raise, my $400 raise? What kind of hands might Avo call me with? Would he call with Jack 10? Would he call with Queen Jack?
Would he have just limped in with 10s, jacks, or queens? And George is going to get rid of it.
Yeah, I don't mind the laydown
No, neither
at
do
all
I.
by George. I mean,
Yeah.
great play by Avo.
Yeah.
Really read it. You know what? And Avo kind of played it in the sense of, hey, if I get called, I still have outs. Great semi-bluff by Avo.
Now, my question, though, also is if you start putting George on a range of hands, again, he bet big. I don't necessarily know if you would do that with 9s. If he doesn't have a set there, though, and you're Avo and you make that move, what do you want George to have? I guess aces would be the best thing. Isn't it worse?
That exact hand is exactly what you want George
And
to
the
have.
point of bringing that up is because if George has kings, does he go anywhere?
If George has kings, he probably has to call. He's got an overpair with an open in the straight.
So, and now I keep questioning Avo there with that type of board, reading that board. Is that the correct play to make? Now, he did get George off that hand, but what will George lay down in that situation? That hand exactly, right? But there's so many other combinations of other hands that he might not lay down.
Well, yeah. And I'm trying to think what else he might lay. He might lay down kings. You never know.
Kings without the king of clubs.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Mike has flopped trip deuces here. It was limped around.
I mean, you almost have to specifically put him on. He's got either aces or kings, and I can get him off of aces.
Mike bets right into the ace here. The flop was ace, deuce, deuce. Bet right in with trip deuces. I love the play, but no one had an ace, and he's going to take it down.
I mean, the one thing with Avo's play is it kind of points out that you don't have to play a lot of hands in no-limit hold'em to win a lot of money here.
Right.
Avo basically has made 1 or 2 moves the entire night, and he's probably up about $4,000 now, maybe $3,000.
Yep.
You make a good point, though. Obviously, George is going to call with queens, jacks, or 10s. He's going to call with ace-king.
Right.
George probably lays down ace-queen. I'm trying to think.
He's going to call with ace-king, obviously.
He's going to call with ace-king.
Yeah.
He probably even calls with kings because he's open-ended there.
I'm just thinking that, maybe it's a little bit less dangerous to make that check raise on a board that's got lower raggy cards on it than necessarily that board.
Right, although you have to know that board is very scary for your opponent as well.
But again, very scary, but the amount, the hands that I put George on are very well connected with that board, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to ask Avo, but I bet you Avo put him on aces. He specifically put him on aces.
With that big overbet, you mean?
Yeah, well, he bet 400 pre-flop. That board comes out, and then he bets 1,000 into the board. I think he specifically puts him on aces.
5-way action here. We had a raise by Eugene. He made it 200 to go, and we're going to see a $1,000 pre-flop. King 7-3. Now, if Eugene were to bet here, he probably would take it down, although Alan's got a pair and a flush draw. Alan's got 6-3 of hearts.
Oh, you could burn the table, and Alan's not going anywhere.
Is Eugene going to bet here? He's going to bet $475 into a $1,000 pot. And again, Alan is probably just going to call, and you don't necessarily know what that means, right?
Right, exactly. And this is one of those cases where if Alan would just show a little strength and raise it
Although,
up,
you know what? Alan's
he'd take
pretty
it down.
short-stacked.
And Alan's in great shape here.
He looked at him like, fuck off, bro.
Alan called with a brown chip, a $500 chip.
Yeah, and Eugene here, he needs an ace or a jack that's not a heart.
Right. Turns a 5. Alan's still good now. And Eugene watches the show, so we talk about, Alan could be calling with anything here.
Yeah.
You might be able to bet him off here. I mean, I might take one more shot against Alan here on the turn.
That's worth
And
a
Eugene
shot.
is going to bet.
9.
He's going to bet 900.
It's hard to bluff Alan out of a hand, though. Especially if Alan's got a big draw.
$900.
And this is a part of the game that you talk about where Alan's got a leak in his game. If he would show any strength at all,
He
would take this down.
It's a $2,900 pot, 900 to call. Eugene says you don't have to chase every hand.
I'm on two.
Wow, and Alan's going to call him. It's a $3,800 pot, and Eugene needs an ace or a jack that's not a heart. Oh, man. Now, can he put the money all in here? He's going to bet all in. Let's see how much more it is. Could he get Alan off a bottom pair? It's $1,200 here, Dave.
Yeah, huge leak in Alan's game.
Pot
here.
is $5,000, $1,200 to call. Wow. And Alan can only beat a pure bluff.
Well, oftentimes when somebody's moving all in on the river like that, they've got a monster or they've got nothing
But
at all.
couldn't
And
you
in
do this
case-
with Ace-King, though? I mean, you only had $1,200 left as a value bet.
I don't know. He might just check it down, Ace-King. You never know. Remember, it's 5, 7, 8.
Let's see if Eugene can pull off the bluff here.
I mean, we just know from our no-limit experience, oftentimes if somebody has Ace-King, they'll fire twice and they'll go, you know what, the pot's big enough. I'll just check.
Alan's having a rough night here. Does he want to leak off the rest of this money? And it looks like, let's see if Eugene's going to pull it off. Well, Alan hasn't done anything yet.
I mean, Eugene practically begged him to fold on the turn, didn't he?
Look at Eugene hiding in the box over there. Wow, and Alan only has 700 left, Dave.
Well,
That's
I mean,
it.
the pot is how big?
Well, if it's only 700, it's about a $4,300 pot, 700 to call.
Okay, so he's getting 6 to 1 on his money. Can Eugene be on a complete bluff? Now, the only thing is, though, there's no real draw except the heart draw on the flop. And since you have hearts, what are the odds that Eugene is? You know what I mean? Unless Eugene was on a complete bluff the entire way.
I mean, the thing that might kill Eugene is that Alan only has 700 left here.
Yeah. And if Alan calls this, he's going to win about a $5,000 pot. But you see what I'm saying? I mean, there's no real draw except the heart draw on the flop. What is Eugene betting? I had the hearts.
Okay, here we go.
Wait, Alan wants to talk himself into calling, and he makes the call, Dave! He's got Eugene! Unbelievable!
Yeah.
Oh, my!
How can you call that with a 3?
Oh, wow!
That's Alan.
That's Alan.
Typical Alan.
That's Alan. And Eugene
great.
is unbelievable.
Well, hey, you know what? That's the answer to it all.
Oh, wow, I love
Said,
it.
how do you call it with just a 3?
That's going to be my favorite hand of the night so far right there.
That's Alan. You know, a lot of people say, well, what a call. I can't believe it. If I only have $700 there, I'd probably call 2. You know what I mean?
Wow, that is unbelievable.
We've seen people make big calls with just ace high. Certainly calling with a pair, we've seen that.
Wow. Now, Eugene got bluffed off out of Mike, and now he can't bluff Alan off.
Yeah, he's picking. He's just kind of stepping in his night, not having a good night, obviously.
You don't really want
And Alan takes down almost a $5,000 pot.
That is
Suddenly, Alan goes from being down 3,000 or 4,000, he's probably even now.
Eugene says, how can you call the 3? And Alan says, that's Alan.
Yeah,
That's real strong.
I want to get a T-shirt. That's Alan.
Good call,
That's
Alan.
great.
Thank you.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow. Well, hey,
Yeah, no, you
I'm glad Alan talked himself into it.
Eugene's behind 5,000. He's buying 5,000 more. Wow.
Now this is okay. Now this is what I want to see now. We saw the other night when Eugene lost a couple of big hands. We saw him go start steaming and start tilting. Is that going to happen tonight?
Yeah.
Because if it happens tonight, these players are going to take advantage of it real quick.
How can you throw out the rest of you got to put me on a complete bluff. I mean, I was, but
Wow. Ace 10-9 here.
And you hear what he says? He goes, "You got to put me on a complete bluff," which is what I was on.
I'm so stunned I forgot what I had. But I'm going to check. And
Unbelievable. That's Alan.
Well, if you're playing in the no limit game at the Bicycle Casino, you're not going to make a living bluffing Allen and bluffing players like Barry Woods. That's not where you're going to make your money.
Where Eugene got killed there was the fact that Allen only had 700 left. If Eugene could put in the 1800 and Allen has him covered, maybe it works.
Yeah, it does.
But you got to notice those chip stacks sometimes.
That's part. You have to know how much your opponent has left.
Got a little bet here by Barry with Queen 10. He's going to take it down. And, the interesting thing about that is because the way that we analyze it in real time, the hand with Ken and James and Barry Woods a couple months back, 6-7, and Barry Woods had pocket jacks. At the time we were like, boy, how can Barry call this? But in retrospect, we kind of said a couple days later, maybe Ken should have just given up on the river because he only had about $3,000 to move all in about a $23,000 pot.
Yeah, and if anybody's wondering what we're talking about, you can check this show out. You can go to the archives, go to liveatthebike.com, top left corner, subscribe to the archives, and that show specifically, and we're talking about a $25,000 pot between Ken and James and Barry Woods. That show would be, do you remember offhand, do you know what the date that is?
I think it's sometime in September, early mid-September. It's definitely archived out there, but...
well, you have to be out there. You got to be careful. You got to be careful of that. You just
and again, post here by 2+2, Baron Bangor Toph, kind of agreeing with me, Dave. I think... I got to say, I think that Ablo's check raise there was somewhat ill-timed. If you look at the range of hands that George might have had.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, you always talk about range of hands. When you're talking about really good poker players, and I'm going to give Ablo credit here. Maybe I shouldn't. But range of hands is one thing, but you might specifically put somebody on an exact hand. And you're right. Hey, I was just in a game with Jonas before the show. He called my hand. It wasn't even a matter of, hey, I think you might have this or this or this. He said, you got this, and he was right. And some poker players are good enough to put that on.
They want to know how much you put. Got to tell them the truth.
4,800, 4,500.
Wow, George is going to bet here, and Barry senses weakness, and he raises. And George calls. He's got a straight draw and a flush draw. And the river's a king, and George misses everything. George bet the flop, Barry called, and then Barry raised him on the turn. And now Barry probably thinks he needs to bet to win this. He's going to bet 1,000, but George has missed everything.
Yeah, this is obviously a pretty easy fold.
Across the country are having heart attacks right now. After watching that shit.
Having heart attacks, they're thinking, oh man, I got to quit my job.
Is George going to make a move here? Is he trying to get a read?
Raising.
He's going to raise, Dave.
Wow.
He's making a move. This is like the first time we've ever seen this.
Oh, I love it.
And this is going to work.
Yeah, I don't think.
There's no way Barry can call. George is check raised Barry on the rip. Actually, he's raised Barry. George had position on Barry. Barry check raised, and George showed the bluff.
Wow.
Now, I had the cards, I had the position wrong. Barry, I think, bet the flop. George called. Barry check raised George on the turn. George called. Barry bet the river, and George raised when he missed his draw.
Yeah, I think he put Barry on a high spade also.
Yeah.
Or garbage, and you know what? What a great play by George.
Yeah.
Sensed Barry's weakness and took advantage of a great play by George there.
Now, the only thing that you sometimes worry about, too, in making that move against a player like Barry Woods is that if he has a king, there's no way in hell he's going to lay it down.
Oh, no, I don't even know if he lays down a queen.
Whereas against a good player, you could get them and actually maybe even lay down trip kings. Yeah. Someone puts in kind of like a block-esque type of trip.
Right.
Trips.
I mean, could you get somebody to lay down a flush there, even with the board pairs?
He could be off there left.
Six-way action here. 8-8-9 with a couple spades. George has overcards and a flush draw, and Mike has a straight draw and the same flush draw. And trip eight's for Kenna. And he checks it. He's going to slow play it, and he fills up on the turn.
Well, we got some fireworks here, folks. And look at that.
Well, Allen...
Well, now Allen's got top pair with a flush draw.
He's going to bet 300. Kenna has filled up on the turn. He checked the 3-8s.
Wow. Now, Mike is not drawing dead. If the 6 of spades were to peel off, he would have a straight flush.
He's not going to chase it.
Okay. Well, he only had one out. It probably wasn't worth it.
Well, Allen also has an out. If he catches a 10, he would win.
Yes.
And Kenna's going to check raise him to 1,000.
And that would be a really bad beat here.
And can Allen get away from this hand? He's got a flush draw with top pair. Have we seen Allen make a laydown like this before?
I don't think he makes this laydown. I think he calls at least to see what happens in the river. That's Allen's play here. I mean,
Yeah.
I think he's going to call this, see what happens in the river.
And he does call, and he needs a 10, and he could lose all his money if a spade comes. The river's a 4.
Yeah, it's a good one for him.
See how much Ken is going to bet. He's going to bet 2,000. Yeah, and now Allen's quickly done with the hand there.
Now, it was interesting that last hand we were talking about with Allen and Eugene, where Allen made a big call. If Eugene was noticing how much money Allen had left, and if you put Allen on some sort of a draw, you know, you almost want to leave him with enough money on the river so you
Right.
can bluff him out if you miss. You know, it's funny, actually. You go back to that hand where Abo made that bluff on George.
Yep.
You know, you can't blame George for laying that down. But I guess you are right in the sense that there obviously are a lot of hands there.
There are many combinations that he cannot lay down.
Right, right.
And that's my only question there when I said when you look at that board.
175.
And obviously, if you know he's got 2 aces without the ace of
Right.
clubs, then it's a great play. But,
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
But again, that's just only one combination, right?
I mean, you can also obviously if he has ace queen, that's another
Yeah,
combination.
yeah.
But if he's got queens, kings, if he's got queens, kings, jacks, or tens, he's probably not going anywhere.
How about even king queen? You know,
King queen, he might get away from thinking he might be drawing to a chop.
yeah. Now Barry here has raised it. Kenna called him with 8-10. Barry bets 300 here on this board. And Kenna is not going to get involved.
I mean, you might even lay down kings there. I mean, you got to think about it. Would you call $2,000 with an open-ended straight draw if your pair's no good?
So, and what a play by George. Again, I kind of messed up the action there, but he bluff raised Barry off of the hand on the river.
You know, I got to tell you, the more I think about it, is it that crazy? I'm going to just throw this at you because
Yeah.
it was such an interesting hand. I want to kind of talk about it even more. Is it that crazy? George bet 400 on the button. Would it be out of the world for Abo to have ace king there? I mean, would Abo necessarily re-raise with ace king at a position?
That's definitely
I
a
mean,
hand that, yeah.
couldn't Abo have ace king with,
Yeah.
say, ace of clubs, king of clubs?
Limped around. 6-way action.
Man, what a play by George there.
Ace, queen, deuce, all spades.
There's no small feet bluffing Barry out.
Yeah. You know, George obviously studies the archives. Maybe he picked up a tell on Barry.
Mike is going to bet this. He's got the jack of spades, gut shot straight draw. Avo calls with top pair with a 10 of spades.
Yep.
And wow,
Spade on the turn, and Mike's got the second nut flush.
and you wonder if Avo's going to get himself in trouble. He's got the 10 of spades.
Well, everybody checked, and the river is a deuce. And everyone checks again.
Mike
Mike
checked
checked
jack
the
of
river.
spades?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Check the jack of spades, and he's going to take it down there.
Now that's some free information if you're wondering. Now obviously the board did pair as well, but that is some information that Mike gives away there.
Checking kind of, you know, not necessarily a monster, but an in-between
Well,
hand.
that hand specifically, right?
Yeah. Got about 15 minutes left in the show. The button moves over to the seat 9, Allen.
And you can catch Live at the Bike every Monday through Friday, 7 to 10 p.m. Pacific time.
Pocket aces here for Mike, and he's in the straddle spot.
Oh, what a place to be there.
He's got aces in the straddle spot.
Now, George has got king, queen. Might George get himself in trouble here against specifically
Well,
Mike?
Kenna has limped in with 7-8 offsuit. Trish is in there with ace-8 of hearts, and you've got to think Mike's going to raise.
No-brainer.
And he's going to make it 400 more. Yeah.
And the pot is now already, I want to say $900, $400 to call.
And Kenna's going to make the call. And boy, if Kenna flops a hand here, I think Mike's going to go broke.
Yeah, now there's
This is
an
going to be
ace
some
dead
incredible
already.
stuff. George is not going to get involved with king, queen, and we are heads up. Aces against 8-7 offsuit for $1,000. Wow, and Kenna's flopped an open-ended straight draw. Mike's going to bet right in here.
I'm telling you, the money might go in right now.
He's going to bet 800 here, folks. Watch this one, and Kenna smooth calls. Pot's now 2,600 as we go to the turn. The turn's a 10, and Mike is going to bet. He's going to bet 2,000.
It's 2,000 only into about I want to say $3,000 pot.
$2,600 pot.
Okay.
And what does Kenna do now? The pot's $4,600. It's 2,000 to call. And he's going to call. Is he going to try to represent a diamond?
Well,
Pot's now
he might be thinking he can.
6,600. Oh, the river's a king. Kenna whiffs. And Mike's going to bet again.
Yeah, he's going to bet another 2,000 into him.
He bets 2,000.
Well, you know what? Maybe you put him on diamond draw. Maybe you put him on a flush on a straight draw, and maybe you hope that he backed into a pair and he pays you off.
And Kenna's not going to get involved. Wow, what a flop.
Now it's interesting. We've seen Kenna play hands like that in the past, where
Yeah.
he would raise the flop
Yeah.
or raise the turn, trying to represent something big.
Yeah.
Now we both know there's no way Mike's getting away from that hand.
Yeah.
I would not have been surprised if Kenna had raised the flop there. Mike had re-raised.
Say, for example, Kenna had 6-7 a diamond, or 7-8 a
Oh,
diamond.
that's-
in that
yeah.
case. My goodness.
He's definitely going to put a raise in there.
Yeah.
No. He's fine, but your first action.
Yeah. I would have given this
Yeah, can we make a couple shirts and say, that's Alan? I'll wear one of those.
Oh, I love that. I'd wear a hat.
175.
Hey, we're
$175
working on
raise
Live
here.
at the Bike,
I know.
Live at the Bike merchandise, folks.
Barry's brought it in with pocket sixes out of seat 6. Pocket deuces here for Trish. And I was going to come in there with king, queen, offsuit, limp call, out of position. 8-5-4 here.
That's not a bad flop for sixes at all. He's got only one card.
He's got a gut shot to the 7.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's going to bet. He gets 450.
Only one overcard to his pair here. Yeah, and he's going to take this down.
Tell you a funny story that happened, Dave, this afternoon in the 5-10 game. Barry Woods had just got to the casino. It was around 4 o'clock. He was on the button, and I was in the cutoff. He was to my immediate left. He got up to get a muffin from the deli. His cards were dealt to him. He was on the button. He said, deal me in. I picked up pocket sixes. I brought it in for about a $55 raise. Barry's hand was mucked. And the flop came ace, 6, deuce. So I flopped middle set.
Right.
And I won a big pot. One of the players that was next to Barry had looked at his cards. I was 2,000 deep. Barry had pocket aces. To my immediate left.
Man.
That was a $2,000 muffin that Barry Woods ate.
Well, you never know. I mean, maybe he re-raises and you muck it. Who knows?
It would depend on how much
Right,
he
exactly. If he
re-raised.
re-raises
Yeah.
it to 350, maybe you don't call. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, $2,000 muffin. I hope
Yeah.
you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Because you know he would have enjoyed your money. He would have been laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah. Now, Trisha's got the best hand here, but Mike is going to come out and bet with a wheel draw. And George makes a call with a wheel draw and a pair. Let's see what Trisha's going to do.
She's going to check raise this. I can almost
You
guarantee
think so?
it. I'd be really surprised if she didn't.
Yeah, she is.
Raise 300.
Going to make it 300 more. Mike quickly gets away from it.
Just like when Mike was a kid. Put him on his lap and spank him.
Trying to help yourself, can you, Mike?
George folds.
You didn't have to call it so much.
Take it down, Trish. I really like Trish's game. I do
Yeah.
like it a lot. Also another player that does not play a lot of hands, but when she plays them strong. She doesn't play them passively. If she thinks she has the best hand, she's going to raise it.
That's what I'm going to bet out. Maybe I'll get lucky. 5 of them turn.
A while, that's relative. What is a while? 3 minutes?
Avo, about 33,500 there.
Yeah.
Mike's still bleeding a little bit more off, but he's still up over $9,000 for the night. Kenna, I think, well, I want to say Kenna bought in for 10. Is he actually up now, 1,600? But he just lost a big pot to Mike.
Yeah. And Mike's got pocket aces again.
Wow.
And he's in the blind. And Trish is going to raise.
Oh.
She makes it 150 with 8-10 offsuit. Mike just calls.
Was he trying to trap his mom?
And Avo's got ace-9 of hearts. And he re-raises.
Oh,
Avo
wow.
has,
This couldn't have worked out any better for Mike. I cannot believe it. I thought Mike was trying to trap his mom, but he
Avo
actually trapped
has
Avo.
re-raised, yeah.
And you just call this. It's already heads up.
He's going to re-raise Avo.
8 more.
He's going to make it 800 more.
Well, you know what? It really feeds into Mike's play.
And does Avo want to get involved with this hand?
Well, it's against Mike, though, and you wonder, what does Mike have here? Why would he just smooth calls his mother, but now he's going to raise me? Kind of an odd play.
Now, Avo does have position on Mike.
And that worked out absolutely perfect. Instead of isolating his mother, he's isolated Avo.
Well, Well, Avo's taking a look. Obviously, he's very deep. He has Mike covered.
Yeah.
The two of them got about 40,000 heads up there.
Oh.
And he's going to make the call, Dave. And if we see the right type of flop, you never know.
Oh, if this flop comes out with 9s.
2,000. Here we go. Pre-flop, heads up. King 6-4.
It's actually a great flop for Mike there.
He checks.
Unless you specifically put Avo on pocket kings, which, hey, it's a possibility.
I can't imagine that Avo's going to bet here. I just, the way his style is, I would be very surprised to see him bet.
I mean, I'll tell you this, though. If another Broadway card comes out, it starts getting scary because you got to start putting Avo on a range of hands. What is he raising with? And then calling an $800 re-raise.
Well, if I was Mike and I played the hand in that manner, I'd be, Avo could have pocket kings here.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. He could have kings, could have queens, could have jacks.
And look at that. I'm shocked. Avo bets. He bets 1,500. But there's no way Mike's going anywhere. We know he's
No, I don't think so. I mean,
and look at this stack. Are you kidding me? Wow.
Yeah, he's going to try to take it down right now, and I think it's going to work, obviously.
And the funny thing is, if Avo had pocket kings, he could move all in here and he'd have all of Mike's money.
Yeah.
He'd have all of Mike's money.
Now, obviously, this move by Avo is very ill-timed.
Yeah.
Maybe I was giving Avo too much credit before with the 7-8 of clubs versus George. Maybe
he makes it 3,000 more. And there's just no way. I mean, if you're Avo, you have to know you can't represent 3 kings here to get Mike off of aces. You could do it with George, and you could do it with me or you, Dave, but there's no way that you're going to do it with Mike.
No, you couldn't do it with me either. I'm not getting away from aces. You're not heads up. I'm sorry. There's no chance. I mean, if the board comes out like king, queen, jack, or king, queen even, but just a king 6-4, I'm not getting away from aces here. Heads up. Sorry. You got pocket kings. Hey, so be it.
$30,000 richer, huh?
Hey, so
I'll remember that. I'll remember that. I remember you can't lay down an overpair. Heads up.
Aces heads up in this case. It's not just an overpair. It's aces. There's just too many hands that Avo could have.
Again, I think Avo needs to pick a spot. He knows Mike has a... Oh, my God. Wait. I thought he was cutting out chips here.
Well, he's cutting them out, but he's not putting them out. He's thinking of making I think he's thinking that maybe Mike is full of crap, and he's thinking maybe I can make another move on him.
There's just no way. But we know that Mike isn't going to get away from... Would Mike even get away from ace-king here? Even for his whole stack for $20,000?
Well, ace-king is different. I mean, who knows?
I mean, Mike has made a check raise here. And the amount is about, I think, another 3,000.
I mean, I got to tell you, no limit hold'em is about making tough calls sometimes. It'll be really, really rare that I would lay down pocket aces in this case if I'm Mike. Man, call me a fish if you want to, Bart, but man, what are you just going to go, well, he must have kings. I'm going to throw him away.
That's Alan.
And obviously, Avo's got nothing. I don't think he's wasting our time here, but I mean, he's probably thinking if he can make a move or not.
And I think Mike made the mini check raise to 3,000. Avo had bet 1,500. The pot, basically, at this point, is 6,500, 3,000 to call.
I mean, what is Avo going to do? Smooth call and then raise them all in on the turn?
It's actually 6,500, 1,500 to call. $6,500 pot, 1,500 to call.
Okay, let me throw this at you. Let's say Avo smooth calls in trying to make a move, and the turn comes out of king.
He gets away from it. He gets away from it.
Was that a good laydown?
And Dave, we're going to get into his last hand of the night next time.
Wow, Mike takes on another big pot, and Mike is definitely our big winner tonight. Huh?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, he's probably up close to, I want to say, $12,000 tonight.
Again, if people had some streaming problems in the beginning of the show because of the site traffic, you can always watch this show on a replay.
And if you're going to bed now and it's not convenient, yeah, you wake up tomorrow morning and watch it tomorrow.
You were in there, I'd ask if they had a flop. He's in there, had 2 queens.
He had 4 or 5.
Going for the set.
You know, he just didn't really...
Button moves over here to Mike. I mean, it's funny, how often does Avo, he's got $40,000 on the table, does he play in games where he's commonly covered by something?
Yeah, I don't know. Got to ask him.
Mike's got ace-king. He's going to raise it up to 450. Ken and James came in for a little raise to 150 with Jack-10. And Ken is going to come in. We're going to see these two butt heads again.
Don't get very excited, man.
Well, he's got live cards.
Ace-king against Jack-10. Here we go. Kenneth checks blind.
Weakness, go.
And Mike checks right behind him. Turns at 3. Kenneth checks, and Mike checks again. and the river is a 4, and a straight plays on the board.
Yeah. I mean, Mike obviously has the ace to 6 straight, but that doesn't make a difference.
Kenna checks.
What an exciting way to end the show, huh? Like kissing your sister.
Well, chop it up.
Oh, yeah.
Jack 10. That is going to do it for us. Thank you all very, very much for joining us. As always, tomorrow night we're probably going to be doing a $200 or $200 or an $80 no limit hold'em game. So,
And then Friday, of course, is our big game.
so for everyone here in the booth, thanks a lot, Dave.
It's a nice shirt you're wearing, though.
Thank you. You too. For everyone here in the booth, I'm Dave Tuckman. I'm Bart Hanson. Good night, everybody, from Live at the Bike.
It's here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the Bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.